I said you better watch what you're doing, 'cause I ain't gonna stop when I'm moving. I'm headed to the top, I'ma do it. I'm headed to the top, I'ma prove it. And I could go all night, I'm sick of being nothing. All right, I'm gonna be something. I'll fight with every breath, trust me. I'ma be the one at the top, you can't touch me. I bleed with every word coming. I would rather die than be someone who's nothing. I'm the type of dude who will not remain nameless. I'm the type of dude who is headed for greatness. I'm the type of dude who could really make changes, 'cause I'm the type of dude that's becoming contagious. I'm the type of dude that will always be ageless. I'm the type of dude that will always feel shameless. I'm the type of dude that they say is fucking heinous, 'cause I'm the type of dude that you know is fucking dangerous.
You are absolutely right. The way he went about it was absolutely wrong. Like, so, like I said, I'm not
of my Jewish hatred that actually goes. Other than the fact that, why are y'all popping out of the sewers in New York City?
Annunciation Catholic Church. You couldn't have called it pronounced Catholic Church?
Yeah, pronounced the Catholic.
Up.
Okay. Hey, buddy. Hey, I'm just gonna grab you. Oh, get it, Luna. Oh, Luna. Luna. What do I pay you for? Oh my god. Oh my god. Luna! Oh god, it's charging at me. Oh, it's fighting back. Oh my god. You're fighting. You're a little fighting me. Little bugger. Oh, Jesus, Luna! You are a useless cat! Oh god, it grabbed me. Oh, Jesus. God. I'm coming for you. Okay, let's just grab you, all right? Let's take you outside. Oh my god, it's fighting back! Now I'm gonna need you to stay. God, it's charging at me again. Luna! Okay. Hey, buddy.
What the actual fuck just happened? The chaos is fucking amazing. But it's a dude scared of a mouse and a cat scared of a human. And the mouse just afraid of its life. Afraid for its life. Dude, grab a pot holder and grab it. What are you doing? Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I will be running a solo tonight here. Davey's gonna be taking Mondays off because, yeah. His wife gave him words. And, yeah, I get you. But we got a hearing we got to go through. This is talking about the angel families, those who have been, who have had children die from illegals. Yeah, we're going to get to that. We're going to hear this because, I will say this. It's pathetic as hell that very few of our Congress people gave this any fucking real thought at all. And Jasmine Crockett gets slapped around. Not physically, but she gets slapped around in this. So, yeah. We got Polar and Adam running with us first here. How y'all doing today? There are some things I do want to bring up beforehand. So let's get to this, shall we? Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Let me cut Rob here. I'm sorry. I was watching him pre-game. All right. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Carvel tells Dem to quietly prepare gun grab with D.C., Puerto Rico and statehood, and Supreme Court packing. Veteran Democrat strategist James Carville suggested on Thursday that Democrats should quietly prepare to launch a variety of structural changes to ensure political advantage once they regain power. Carville and co-host Al Hunt on the Politics War Room podcast took questions from listeners on the episode released Thursday. Once asked whether Democrats should flood the zone with a corrective implementation policy using the majority to silence or to simultaneously enact a myriad structural changes to save our democracy and preserve our rights if they return to power in 2029. Just listen. Just listen to this shit, guys.
If the Democrats win the presidency in both houses of Congress, I think on day one, they should make Puerto Rico, D.C. a state, and they should expand the Supreme Court.
Okay, make Puerto Rico a state? You can have an argument for that, but DC, what the fuck are you thinking? DC was the 10 square miles that were set away so no state could actually have any undue control or any more control over the federal government that it should. I mean, when our capital was in Philadelphia, wasn't that one of the problems during the Civil War? Wasn't that one of the things people were bringing up? Is the capital of our country is in enemy territory? Yeah, that was a thing, right? So yeah, when the White House burned down in Philadelphia, they moved it to DC, squared off 10 square miles in the whole damn area and said this belongs to the federal government and the federal government alone. And you want to make that a fucking state? So you want the federal government to have undue control over everybody else and all the other states combined? Wow. What a fucking failure you are with that, right? That's why I say it's 10 square miles of treason.
To 13. Eat our dust. They've done everything they could that they helped.
Oh. Pack the Supreme Court. Yep. Yeah, we just need to put our people in. Just do whatever. We're just tired of the game. Supreme Court actually does kind of go conservative. So how do we change that? Let's stick more people in. Four of our people. Yeah. So you will never have any other thought process but left as far as law is concerned. And what have we seen, ladies and gentlemen? Illegals getting away with shit. Meanwhile, you get thrown in prison for merely saying fucking words. You get your livelihood taken away. You get everything stripped from you because you said something they don't like. People go to prison for that shit. And we're going to sit here and be like, yeah, the Supreme Court needs to be packed with these fucking lunatics so that we can be Britain now. Where motherfuckers are going to prison just for saying, hey, Islam is bad. Wow, it's really fucking weird how the Democrats have tried to embrace socialism or push off as socialism, but really you just are some communist motherfuckers who think that just because you're a smooth talker, you get to run people, you get to rule people, you get to tell them what to do. You're not there to represent, you're there to rule. And now he's just saying, fuck it, when the Democrats take power, make sure we can never lose again.
Held up the 2000 election. They stole it. They've stolen Supreme Court seats. They've gerrymandered everything that you can.
They stole the 2000 election? They've gerrymandered every state. Well, are you fucking dumb, dude? They gerrymandered every fucking state they can? I don't really remember until here recently when any fucking state has ever had a party with Republican gerrymandering. I don't remember that. Until here recently. I do remember a lot of stories about people having problems with Democrat gerrymandering. All through my lifetime. So when you talk about these things, you know what? I'm not going to attribute stupidity for malice in this. Because no, this is straight up malice. This motherfucker is actually speaking and telling the Democrat Party to commit treason. Take everything. If they give you a little bit of power, you take it all. Hold up.
And the only way to fight this is don't run on it, don't talk about it, just do it.
Don't say anything. Don't talk about it. Don't tell anybody you're going to do it. Just fucking do it. You get into power, take everything from them. Now, how do you overthrow a government from within? Exactly what you're talking about, is it not? So you were levying war on the people of the United States by taking their power away from them and giving it to you by force. And not by gun force. No. Your power to write laws gives you the right to have full control. So when you talk about this, you are levying warfare on me, and you were telling Democrat politicians, the ones that make the laws that tell me how to live my life, just take the power from me. Fuck it. Who cares? Don't say you're going to do it. Don't talk about it. Just fucking do it. In the game. One party fucking rule. Communist country. Holy fucking shit. We're going to allow this to happen. Like, this is going to be a thing. This is an actual fucking treasonous talk. When you get power, just enact it all. Just push it all through. Just do whatever the fuck you need to get our side to win. Doesn't matter. And fuck the people, right? I mean, you took a look at Virginia. Have you seen their gerrymandered fucking map? Literally one fucking Republican, every other fucking seat is Democrat. A 10-1 fucking majority. When it's what 5 to 4 or something like that. 5 to I don't know exactly what it actually stands now, but you're talking about a 10-1 fucking majority. And look what hey, not for nothing. I understand what's going on with that. Look, you got CIA going into governorship in Virginia, right outside of D.C. You don't think they're going to hold up in their areas and make their areas stronger? I guarantee you, look into that one. That election's going to be fucky too. Because who the fuck would vote in for a CIA agent to come in and be the moderate candidate and not know that she's actually just boosting the fuck out of every goddamn tax in the state and pretty much making sure that Republicans have no form of a voice in the whole fucking state. Don't matter where you are unless you live in one district. How the fuck does that make sense? But yeah, that's what we're doing. And we're allowing it to happen, I guess. Are we? Come on. Is it muted now? What the hell happened? No. I fucking hate your website, Fox News. Let me go back to it.
If the Democrats win the presidency,
all right, you little son of a bitch.
I
swear to God.
Congress,
I swear to fucking God. I hate your goddamn platform. No. Okay, it did cut.
That they held up the 2000 election. They stole it. They've stolen Supreme Court seats. They've gerrymandered everything that you can. And the only way to fight this is don't run on it. Don't talk about it. Just do it.
Like, how is that not openly fucking advocating for treason? Happy Monday, 420. How you doing? Yeah, we're going a little bit early. I wanted to touch on some things, and we got a hearing, so yeah. But yeah, I found this to be really fucking interesting. CNN has been putting together like their entire week of like poll numbers and shit like that. They've been putting them in one video. Dude, just last week. Let's see how the numbers stack up, because I'm going to be honest with you, it does make sense.
So where does public opinion stand on the war with Iran? How much has it hurt the president? With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry.
Hey, I snuck right in here.
So look, there's this notion, and you see articles about it all the time, that the president is leaking because of the war with Iran. What evidence is there?
Yeah, I think this is so important because in the polling, you may see the president leaking support. But I think for me, the question is, as we head towards midterm elections, has there been any real impact on those congressional Republicans who are running for re-election this term? And
That is a good question. There's a lot bowing out. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot bowing out. There's a lot actually trying to go somewhere else and other places. But as far as Republicans that are trying to go back into office, how are they faring?
You know what? Take a look at the generic ballot. The shift in it, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Democrats had a small lead heading into the war. They continue to have a small lead that would likely win them the House, but not one that would be consistent with them winning the Senate. So
not a fucking thing changed. The entire Iran war didn't change a damn thing for Republicans. The entire fucking thing, it didn't change shit.
despite the war going on for well more than a month now, there has been 0, 0,
And that's because they understand it better.
0 shift. This is a reality check for those who are saying the war has massively changed the political landscape going into the midterms.
So how much has it moved?
It's moved 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Okay, so broaden it out a little bit if you're talking.
But Dems still are holding a lead in the House. They're going House, but there's a slim chance to take Senate unless some fuckery happens.
About maybe support for one party or another on foreign policy.
Yeah, okay, so what's one of the reasons why we've seen this 0-point shift? Just take a look here. Okay, party trusted more on foreign policy. In late February, it was Dems, but within the margin of error by 4 points.
I trust Richard Barris's polling more than Fox, though. This is CNN. This is Harry Enton. This is the motherfucker. I will give him to all fucking credit. He's always making you sound exciting, and he's always, whoa, look at this, look at that. Look, he is actually telling the Democrat Party, you guys have been fucking up. And let's be honest, Democrats have been getting a little bit better with their messaging here recently, haven't they?
What's actually happened by late March, that number actually shifted by 1 point, which is within the margin of error, but it actually made the Democrats' lead on foreign policy trust go down a point to 3 points. So again, what we're seeing here is this war has simply put, when it comes to the parties at large, coming to congressional Republicans, it just simply put has not changed the political landscape at all.
Holy fucking shit. The only thing it did was hurt Democrats. The entire fucking Iran war, the only thing it did was hurt Democrats. Republicans, no change whatsoever. Yes, and it's because they understood it better. But Democrats, you lost a point in party trusted for more power, for better foreign policy. I don't know, maybe saying Maduro, who lost an election and stayed in power like you said Trump was going to do. It was bad for us to go in there. We should install him back. I don't know. Maybe it's the Kilmar, Brago Garcia thing, the illegals. I mean, it just maybe it's all that. I'm pretty sure that that Democratic autopsy of the 2024 election, I'm pretty sure they know what it says, and it says you did every fucking thing wrong. But
How much do voters say they care about the war?
Yeah, okay. So you see this little shift. You see the fact that the generic ballot shifted 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You ask yourself, okay, why might that be? Well, how about this? Say they care a great deal or quite a bit about the Iranian situation. In early March, it was 45%. Now, gets this. Again, it's just a shift of a point. It's within the margin of error, but actually shifted
1% less of the population gave a fuck less about the shit. Not only did you lose people across the fucking board, but you also lost Democrat support on your fucking foreign policies. Republicans remain the same. You lost people across the board and lost on your side. Republicans are unfucking phased throughout the entire Iran situation. Holy shit, how does that happen? How do you lose that fucking badly? Nobody gives a shit, and even less people on your side give a shit. And even less people on your side are, yeah, you you have better foreign policies, right? Right? 1% drop. You already had 4 and you go down to 3. Holy shit. While people lose across the board because they don't give a fuck anymore. Scratch that up for a loss for the fucking Democrats on that one. God. The Iran situation has never really played a factor in anybody except just fucking talking about it and just being like, holy shit, look, I get it. Economic wise, it's a badass move, but this is going to put a hurting on China. Maybe you can get Russia into the fold. You and Putin, yeah, you do have a bit of a relationship with each other. You guys do understand, but I don't expect Russia to just be like, yeah, I like him, so he can just roll through my country. Appreciate it, Rob, for the raid. How y'all doing tonight? We're going to get to a hearing here very, very soon from the sanctuary, angel moms, the human toll on sanctuary policies. We're going to get to that, but I want to hit this up first because this is telling. This is telling for anybody who doesn't know right now. He just went over the whole thing. How did Iran do on the Republicans? Not a damn change. How did Iran do on the Democrats? Well, 1% loss that they have a better foreign policy. And how did the whole situation turn out? Everybody lost interest. Everybody lost concern across the board, but 1%. Dems took a fucking loss, and they took it hard with that one. They lost 1% of the people. It was already at 4%, and it's now down to 3% of the people who say Democrats are better at foreign policy. Holy shit.
Down by 1 point to 44%. So the majority of Americans do not, in fact, say they care quite a deal, or a great deal, or quite a bit about the Iranian situation. Look, this may be impacting the president somewhat, but in terms of congressional Republicans, in terms of changing the landscape heading into the midterm elections, look, Johnny, as I like to say, and Jimmy Carville like to say, it's about the economy, but when I'm with this guy, it's smarty pants.
But the interesting thing here, and one way to look at this, is that any focus on Iran is not focused on the economy.
Correct.
So it may be that these numbers aren't moving, but the economic numbers, which really do matter, do perhaps shift on the
The gas prices, inflation, that's the name of the game. Those numbers shift.
What up,
that's
Airborne?
bad for Republicans if they go in a southern direction. They go in a northern direction in terms of people being more satisfied. Then that, in fact, would be a real game changer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny.
With us now, CNN Chief.
Next one. Michigan Senate race and the Democrats on Israel. This is an absolute massacre across the board, though.
Data analyst Harry Etten. And one of the places where we can see this most clearly is in Michigan, where there is an open Senate seat and a very competitive Democratic primary. What are we seeing in that primary right now in terms of the predictions?
Yeah, okay. You know, what we're seeing here right now is that the most anti-Israel Democratic candidate, potential nominee, is gaining ground over the last month. Just take a look here. Chance to be the Michigan Democratic Senate nominee according to the Kalshi prediction markets. If you look right here, McMorrow, who's kind of the Goldilocks in here in terms of the pro or anti-Israel candidate. Stevens mostly being seen as the most pro-Israel candidate. She's down there at 20% a month ago. McMorrow was at 61%. Look what's happened over the last month. McMorrow has fallen to 49%. Abdul Assayed, look at this, from 23%, who is seen as the most anti-Israel candidate, up to 39%. Now, this is a legitimate race.
And y'all wonder why anti-Israel sentiment is creeping up? Now, hold up. Hold up. Y'all ain't free yet.
Here, folks. This is a legitimate race, and Abdul Assayed, who I think at the start of this campaign, a lot of folks weren't quite sure if he would have the muscle to go all the way, at this point is a true competitor with McMorrow ahead, at least according to the Kalshi prediction markets, but below 50%. And Assayed really closing over the last month as this Iran war has worn on.
As we said, this is a Democratic primary. How might...
Now, this is going off the Kalshi market. This is literally people putting their actual money on something really fucking happening. Yes, it will change over time. Massively like this, though. You went from, of course, the lowest being the pro-Israel person to being losing 9%. And then you got Al Sayed. You know what I want to say. Gain support. Okay.
This be emblematic of Democratic positions on Israel writ large.
Now, don't get me wrong. I understand why.
Okay, so you see Al Sayed going up, and there's all this discussion. Oh, there's this divide on Israel within the Democratic Party. I'd make the argument there was a divide 4 years ago. I'm not quite sure there's a divide anymore, because just take a look here. Okay, Democrats' net favorability of Israel. Not liberal, those who are moderate conservative versus those who are liberal. You go back to 2022, those who are not liberal, slightly more likely to hold a net favorable view of Israel than not. Liberals were against Israel by that point, minus 26 points. Come over to this side of the screen. That divide is simply put gone. There is no divide within the Democratic Party when it comes to views towards Israel. The net favorable rating amongst those who are moderate conservative, not liberal. Look at this. Minus 55 points. That's a shift of 58 points in just 4 years' time. Those who are liberal, it's nearly a 50-point shift, minus 74 points. But now moderates and conservatives, as well as liberals, those within the Democratic electorate, are united on their views towards Israel. It is unfavorable at this point.
Does age factor?
And I will say yes. Yes. All right, look. Take all your feelings, however you have with Israel, and the wars going on and everything like that. When you see a country that just bombs another country's military because they think something might happen, and then you go and back that country because, well, they're your only access into the Middle East, there's a lot of fuckery to be had, right? Because let's be honest, Netanyahu did attack another country and bomb a military base because he thought something were going to happen to the Jewish people. He felt like something was going to happen, so he acted. Yeah, even I had fucking problems with that. The damage that he's done just shooting at pretty much anybody and everybody just because. Yeah, you take a look at everything, it does kind of look that way. It looks like he's just wanting to expand his borders before his support is fucking eroded and America no longer props him up.
Into this?
Does age factor into it? Okay, age was another divide that we saw, but that age divide is breaking down. Look
It's
at this.
chopping me
Democrats' net favorability towards Israel. Age
All right, hold
50
up.
plus back in 2022 was plus 10 points. Those under the age of 50, age 18 to 49, minus 25
It was
points.
just really
Come
loud
over
in
to
my
this
head
side.
this way. Am I better?
Again, these are just dramatic shifts. Look at this. Age 50 plus now, minus.
Look, Democrats' net favorability of Israel. At age 50 plus, they used to be 10%. They've gone down 54. Or they used to be plus 10. Now they're negative 54. 18 to 49. Negative 25 to negative 70. This is the Democrats now. We all know who they are. We all know the pro-Palestine crew and everything like that. It did some damage.
54 points. That's a shift of what, Johnny B? That's a shift of 64
points.
64 points in the negative direction. Under age 50,
Sometimes
it's a shift.
Israel is
and normally
Israel's
this would be a
worst enemy.
huge shift,
Yes.
but it's 45 points as compared to what, 64 points? But the bottom line is this. The age divide that there was.
Head chopping groups are not saints either. Hell no, they're not. Nope. But did you have to go any further from that point, though? I mean, when you were taking care of the Palestinians, why were you launching attacks at every other country around you? Just because they were closely linked to somebody who did something to you? Oh. Are you trying to act like America without being America? We can't have that happen, right? No, we just went right along with it. And I understand why. Look, check it out. Guys, everything we prototype pretty much winds up on their front line. You remember Iron Beam? The laser distribution that we were using to target drones and fast-moving vehicles, missiles, things like that. Yeah, that deployed on their front line, did it not? And coincidentally enough, the Jewish space laser thing. No, when they were developing Iron Beam, Project Iron Beam, they were talking about, if it works, scaling it up and putting it on satellites to defend from space. That was the Jewish space laser thing. Yes, they were actually talking about that. But All of our shit usually gets prototyped on the front lines there. Because they're always at war. It's a great place too, and it's their only place into the Middle East. It's the only democracy is what they claim. No, it's our only place in. Every other country around that area kind of hates us, except for Saudi Arabia now, but and Trump's got a little bit buddy-buddy with that too, yeah, but that's it. So when you take away that, we lose control of any kind of influence on the Middle East whatsoever. We lose the strait, and, well, where do you think that leads then? I get it. But I don't think we should be backing somebody just because they want to expand their borders. And all intents and purposes, that's what it looks like Netanyahu is doing.
On Israel within the Democratic Party, that has gone, again, basically uniformly negative views towards Israel among Democrats, and that, in my mind, is playing out in Michigan right now as El Sayed's chances are going up.
Major shifts. Harriet, and thank you very much.
Thank
We got
you,
a lot
my
of
friend.
breaking news this morning. There's a new poll from Quinnipiac that shows the president's approval rating at 38%, which is low. And there have been other polls that show the same number, maybe even a little lower. But there have been other polls that show his underlying numbers are even worse. He's hemorrhaging support among independents, hemorrhaging support on some key issues like taxes and immigration and other things. So one question that I've asked are...
No, hold on. You're not wrong, Donut. But they did it in a fucked up ass way. They went out and did it anyway. Instead of having us back them by, I don't know, giving $7,000 per post to anybody, any social media influencer who says anything pro-Israel, and then you see a lot of people on X start posting pro-Israel shit. I mean, come the fuck on, really? Can we do something better than that? No, everybody just wants to play on the heartstrings. You can't put something out there like the truth of what's actually happened. Throw that out there and just be like, this is what the fuck they did. And if you don't want to back us going against that, then maybe we have to question our loyalty to you. Holy shit. Israel questioning whether they should be allies with America? For not wanting to take out people who brutally murdered innocents? But then you went further. That's the problem. And they had no reason in backing to do so from us. Probably told not to fucking do it, and they did it any damn way. They were going to move on Iran. I guarantee you they did drag us into it. The bombing thing, we thought we got them. Yeah, we didn't get enough. They still had nuclear material. Hey, he said he's got enough for 11 fucking bombs, and then all of a sudden, he's dead. I mean, that's not accidental. It's really not. And you realize we've hit 13,000 fucking targets plus in Iran? In what, a month's time? We have decimated their entire fucking military. And the straits on, the straits off, the straits on. He's fucking with China. Our oil is flowing. The Gulf is fucking filling up. Well, will be filling up soon. Our oil is flowing. But China gets most of their oil from areas we have taken. China is hurting. They got that tanker through. Yeah. And then we were telling them, hey, calm the fuck down, buddy. You got a whole bunch of tankers floating out there with everybody else's fucking flags. Calm down. And then apparently, some more shit has happened with that. We've got to hit that later on too. Probably not tonight. But, yeah, I understand this whole damn thing. He is squeezing China out, but if he tells you that, you're not going to back him. Why? Because it hurts you right now. And it does hurt. Don't get me wrong. I drive 30 miles one way to work every damn morning. It hurts. But I understand it. And I'm willing to see how this plays out. As long as it don't go any higher. But let's take a look at this.
chief data analyst,
What up,
Harry
no
Eden,
dictators?
is as bad as this
An
number
American
is,
woman? How you doing?
what's keeping it fairly stable at this number? Why hasn't it dropped even more? Harry?
I'll answer your question, Mr. Berman, and that is because President Trump is more than holding his own amongst a very large portion of the electorate, a very reliable voting bloc, and that is senior citizens. Take a look here, okay? Trump's approval rating age 65 plus. In March of 2025, 46%. Look at where it is now. It's basically the same. Seniors have not moved. He's at 44% now. And the key nugget here is for all this talk about young people in the electorate, such as myself, or at least I like to include myself in that block, it turns out that older voters, senior citizens, vote in far larger numbers. So Republicans look at this number and they say, hey, you know what? We can actually potentially do some real damage, or at least hold our own in the midterms, because President Trump is holding his own with this very important voting bloc.
So how does that number 44% compare historically to other presidents?
Okay, this is where it gets even more interesting. It turns out if you look at all the 21st century second-term presidents, and you look at senior citizens, Trump actually has the best approval rating at this point in the second term of all of them. Donald Trump at 44%. Obama was under 40% at 39%. George W. Bush was way down there at 34%. So Donald Trump is beating other presidents this century at this point in their second term, beating all of them. And therefore, as I said,
You know, as I was listening to this, I was like, wait, what about Biden? He was a one-term president. I was like, oh yeah. It took a second for me to kick in. But yeah, I was looking at that and I was just, okay, in this term, or in this point in their term, Bush had 34. Obama had 39. Trump has 44. He hasn't fucking moved this entire time. So all this flailing and screaming into the wind that you see in the news hasn't changed really the battlefield in any way. Now, Kalshi markets, whoa. There is something definitely going on with that and that poly market and all those other predicted markets. I mean, people are making bank. They're just dropping money right into it right before something they know is going to happen. I call that insider trading, but it's a prediction market. So I guess they have some kind of fucking loot. Nope, they need to be closed. Anyway, I mean, keeping an eye on that is kind of more up to date than what is he's actually speaking. I will say that, but even they don't change much.
said, holding his own amongst a very key voting bloc. The President of the United States and the White House should like this number, especially compared to Obama, who Trump, of course, always likes to beat.
And this was George W. Bush after he started talking about reforming Social Security.
That's a bad idea.
Among seniors, it certainly is, the so-called third rail of politics. All right, talk to me how his number may have moved a little bit, President Trump's, and what that might mean.
Okay, so, we spoke about the midterm elections. So, oftentimes I ask myself, okay, the president isn't obviously up for election this November, but Republicans in the House are. And so I think just making this comparison, right? We've seen a lot of folks saying, oh, Republicans doom when it comes to the midterm elections. But just take a look at this. Choice for election among age 65 plus. Back in November of 2024, Trump won that group by 1 point. We've seen some movement, but really not that much movement. Democrats ahead by 3 in the race for Congress. And as John and I were talking about, this could cost Republicans the House, but a number like this suggests to me that Republicans very, very well and are likely to hold the Senate. This is what we've seen in the polling data.
Now, this does go a little bit past, the margin of error is something like 3 points or something like that. It does go a little bit past that, but the swing is fucking real. It's not as big as they're claiming, though. I like this start time today. Yeah, I went a little bit early because I got a little bit to do here, but yeah, we still got to play by Davey's time frame. Davey, he's gonna be taking Mondays off now because he's got to do family things. But yeah, he's gonna be taking Mondays off with us. But he will be Thursday, Friday with us as well. Maybe even some Wednesdays if we can get around with it with some Stupids play. He'll definitely be here Saturdays, maybe some Sundays if he wants to do it. But yeah.
When we look nationally, we see that the movement, simply put, isn't there.
And
when you get the most reliable voting bloc, basically Republicans holding their own with maybe some slight movement of Democrats, these are the types of numbers that I think Republicans have to be pleased with.
I will say, though, even this slight movement, probably enough at this stage to think.
For the House, but not for the Senate.
All right, we're talking about the Senate here. There is a Senate.
Now, that is because it's age 65 plus. That is the biggest fucking voter block in. Yeah. I mean, it does track with the House, especially with so many seats right now, everything up in the air. Everybody knows the House is the one that writes the bills. Well, no, they don't. But no, I mean, everybody's just pushing party line bullshit. Really, I'm just going to be honest with you, though. It's only Republicans that are actually trying to say, hey, we need to do this to change this. And Democrats are just saying, orange man bad. Elect me. And we're still seeing this swing. But this is old people. So
race in a state that I'm told has a fair number of seniors. That's Florida.
We're all
Republican
getting to
Ashley
be that
Moody
age,
up for
right?
re-election there.
I'm probably the
what
youngest one in the
market
crowd.
saying about her chances?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people in New York City who may have some older relatives who live down on the Gold Coast in Southeast Florida. You think of the Villages as well, and take a look here. Chance that the Republicans wins. The Republicans hold on in the 2026 Florida Senate race. Look at this, an 83% chance. So the bottom line is this: Florida, a state with a lot of seniors,
ain't going
looks like
nowhere.
Republicans are holding their own there. Not a big surprise.
And Jennifer, happy 420. Same to you for 12 fucking months. Damn, it's already been that long. All right, let's go.
As we've seen nationally, Republicans holding their own with seniors.
It
Donald
has
Trump
been a
holding
while
his own
now.
with seniors, and that's a key reason why the bottom hasn't fallen out, and Republicans have a fighting chance heading into this midterm election.
Our YouTube has been
Thank you
shadow
very much. I
banned.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tonight, a Republican saying the
right, a
quiet
new
part
one.
out loud. Senator Tommy Tuberville, all but admitting that Republicans don't deserve to stay in control of the Senate.
Everything that goes on up here, Benny, is about, oh, we got to get reelected. We got to keep
Hold
the
up.
majority. Well, hell, we ain't done anything in the majority. Should we keep majority?
I mean, he asked the question, why should we keep the majority? What the hell have we done with it? Well, it comes after the president said this about his party's chances in the midterms.
When somebody gets elected president, that party always loses the midterms. I don't know why. Nobody can explain it.
Well, Tommy Tuberville had an explanation in part, but okay, Harry Enton is here to tell us something we don't know. So, Harry, you heard Tommy Tuberville. That was a very honest assessment. That was what he thinks. He said, what the heck have we done?
Yeah.
And so we don't deserve it. Okay, if he's going to say that openly, how bad is it?
I mean, it's bad. It's like a nightmare for the Republicans.
you know what?
The Democrats just keep gaining and gaining and gaining when it comes
Yeah,
to the
it'll be
Senate
all
House.
right.
And you could see it really well in the Kalshi prediction market. I mean, just take
Yeah,
a look
it
at the
has
chance that
actually been
Democrats
longer
would
than a year,
control.
but-
You know, at the beginning of the year, it was only about a 1 and 3 shot. But now look at this. Democrats haven't just gained on Republicans. They actually have the majority chance at 54%. Now, that's fairly close to a toss-up. But the bottom line is this. We all thought that the House was going to go to the Democrats, but the Senate is...
Now again, ladies and gentlemen, this does come from the Kalshi market. That will actually massively fluctuate, especially as people know things are going to happen. I mean, really, I could probably make a good bit of money getting into this shit just doing this, knowing full well that, hey, you remember that poll about will any government official actually release any information or, release evidence that there is life on other planets? You know, the aliens thing. And then all of a sudden the shit starts popping up and the committees are like, yeah, we got some shit going on here. I mean, that was happening before. If you were paying attention to it, you would have already known. It's a lot more likely, especially now. But this one right here, chance Democrats will win the Senate. Prediction markets, Kalshi went up. Kalshi went up. So what are we not understanding about what's going to happen in the Senate? I want to know, what are we not understanding about what's going to happen in the Senate? Because this means something. Somebody dumped a lot of money. On January 1st, it was at 33%. Now, at 54%. People have dumped a lot of money into Democrats winning the Senate. Now it could also change that too, because people will dump money once this starts going over. They're just going to look at it and be like, okay, I'm going to throw $10 at this at 33% versus the rest of it, whatever that is, because I think there's more than one choice in there. But 33%, yeah, let me dump a little bit. Let me dump a little bit just in case. And then all of a sudden it starts growing a little bit and people are like, oh, the wisdom of the crowd. okay, let me dump money into this because I've made money thinking about this. I've made money on the, just following what's going on here, not paying attention. And then it spikes to this because people notice the trend and want to buy in. It's not so much the wisdom of the crowd. It's the spikes you have to worry about. When it spikes hard, is there something you are missing? Or is this just people buying into some bullshit just because they think they're going to get some quick money?
Well, oh boy, my goodness gracious.
Yeah, I mean, well, at first that was sort of, well, no way.
No
Then
way.
It was,
No
well,
way,
it's a
no
tiny
how.
chance, and now you point
Boom.
out what a shift. Okay, so because of what? What are the key races that have driven that shift from 1 and 3 to the majority chance?
Yeah, take a look at the Cook Political Report, which just came out this week, and they shifted 4 key races closer to Democrats taking. What are we talking about here? Well, we can talk about Georgia going from a toss-up to lean Democratic.
Okay, we all saw this shit. I'm just going to put this full screen so y'all can see without the shit there. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong button. There we go. I'm doing it correctly now. Georgia went from a toss-up to lean Dem. I mean, that makes sense, right? It's fucking Georgia. It's Fulton County. I mean, you got Tiffany Henyard running down there now. You got North Carolina going from toss-up to lean Dem. Hey, that makes sense. That really does make sense, especially with North Carolina kind of putting a hamper on the Republicans that were living there when Biden was in charge, and those motherfuckers dipped out because they couldn't get their places back. That makes sense too. Ohio, lean GOP went to toss-up. And that's Nebraska, I think. A solid GOP to likely GOP. There is a little bit of a blue shift happening, though. And I think it's from the older generation. I think it's from the end of Gen X and the beginning of the millennial generation. I think it's our crowd. Because we are the likely voter base now, are we not?
Carolina. This would be a Democratic pickup from toss-up to lean Democrat. How about Ohio, a state that Donald Trump won by double digits, from lean GOP to toss-up with the likely Democratic nominee Sherrod Brown, the former senator. And then Nebraska. Nebraska hasn't elected a Democratic or a non-Republican senator since 2006, but it went from solid Republican to likely Republican. Democrats are gaining in many different seats across the political map, putting new states into play, and that's the reason why at this point they actually have a 54% chance of taking over the United States Senate.
Which is fascinating, and of thinking about Ohio and what a red state it had become.
Yes.
That you're now saying that's a toss-up. Okay.
He's not wrong, especially with the gerrymandering and everything like that. You got states that are starting to swing blue. You might see some weird fuckery going on with the electorate. And hey, it could be misleading, but it also could be that the fact that Democrats are fleeing cities and going elsewhere into areas. They're trying to lift that country. I'm serious, guys. Look at it. You want to know, from the flood of California and New York and all these Democrat states, you want to know where they're going? Texas, Florida, and Tennessee. The top 3. There's a lot more behind it, too. I mean, fuck, even my state's been hit. I live in Alabama. Yeah, they're moving from their destroyed-ass cities into yours. They're going to go in the cities first, and then they're going to discover, hey, places like this, y'all are a little bit more laid back. It's going to be cool. Hey, you got a farm. You got land out here. You got all types of things I could do out here, and then they're going to move into the countryside. And maybe this is the end of big cities for us, but it's also disturbing as fuck to see what comes after that. Can't say that. We are still on YouTube, but yeah.
So tell us something else I don't know.
I'll tell you something else that you don't know. You look at Ohio, right? You think of the working class, right? You think of those who perhaps have incomes less than $50,000. Look at how much they have turned against the President of the United States. Look at this. His approval rating at the beginning of his second term was plus 2 points. Down he goes into the smithereens, now at negative 34 points on his net popularity rating. That's an over 35-point shift.
Income under $50,000 a year. That's every single fucking, well, most of us. Most of America. Income under 50,000, you lost a lot of that. Yeah, you were supposed to build back the economy. You were supposed to do something great, and then all of a sudden, hey, look, inflation has dropped. Prices at my grocery store have dropped a little bit, but gas. And most, yeah, you tell people about it, they'll understand exactly the way I laid it out. Yeah, I get it. Okay, it's trade. It's oil. Yeah, let's go ahead. But without knowing that, you were sitting there, hey, $2 a gallon, $2.50. Great. I was even doing it. I was just like, y'all are seeing these gas prices rise. I haven't seen it. It was $2.40 for me when I said something. And then a week later, it shot up to $3. It wasn't even a week later. It was actually like just 4 days, something like that. It shot up to $3 a gallon. Yeah, that hurt. It hurt everybody. It still hurts today because we're almost at that point to where it's $5 a gallon. Are we going back to that? Can all that oil we're giving away, can we start flooding our streets a little bit with that, please? I get it. We need to sell off a lot to bring in some income and everything like that, but shouldn't you just take the ease off us a little bit with all this shit? No, we're just going to sell it to the world first? Well, fuck my pocketbook, right? Yeah, you get lost like that. It hurts.
In only about a year plus a few months' time, no wonder all these states are in play.
And stunning. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Harry Enton.
It is April 15th. It's tax day. If you haven't filed your taxes, I don't know what you're waiting for. But look, today is the first tax day where the president's big tax and spending
Prices
cut
have
bill
dropped the
kicks
last week,
in, and people can receive the benefits, theoretically, of them. So how do they feel about it? With us now, CNN Chief Data Analyst Harry Enton. All kinds of administration officials fanning out, touting the big, beautiful bill, as it's called today. How's it working?
Ain't working too good because Trump is paying the piper when it comes to taxes and the American public. Look at this trend. I mean, again, what massive trends we're seeing from term one to term two. Trump's net approval rating at this point on taxes. In term number one in 2018, remember there was that tax cut that was just passed just before tax day back in 2018. Look at this. He was above water at plus 2 points. But down he goes, down he goes. Look at this. He's at minus 28 points as net approval rating on taxes, down 30 points from term number one. If there are
Yeah, I will admit. Yeah, the big beautiful bill didn't really do much. Yeah, I got a bigger return this year than I did last year. I'll admit that. I got a bigger one. It wasn't much. My state was bigger than my federal was. That never happens. But I guess my state's making moves too, ain't they?
benefits that the American people are liking when it comes to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, they are not, in fact, giving the 2 thumbs ups to Donald Trump when it comes to that.
I'm reading the fine print there.
Oh, yes. The fine print there. I leave fine print and John's able to.
Let's not also, never mind the Doge thing. But the whole, hey, you're going to get a rebate, you're going to get this money if we hit $2 trillion in savings. Y'all knew that was a red herring, right? I mean, come on, they're only going after certain things that they consider waste, fraud, and abuse. You know they ain't looking for really every bit of it. They're just looking for certain things that they know they can go after, they know they can cut. They're not going after the real shit. If they were going after the real shit, there ain't no damn way that we would have the daycare shit. That wouldn't have happened. The hospice fraud in California, that wouldn't have happened. None of that would have happened had they had been looking for real shit, right? I mean, there's your proof. Shouldn't they, if Doge were actually doing what the fuck they were doing and going after waste, fraud, and abuse, wouldn't they have found the Wisconsin shit? Wouldn't they have found the California shit? Wouldn't they have found the New York shit? Wouldn't they have found that? Interesting. But hindsight is 2020, I will say that. I mean, we didn't know that at the time when Doge was in office, because if we did, Doge would have taken credit.
Find it. Among independents, he is 58 points underwater with independents when it comes to taxes. My goodness gracious.
I'm going to circle that. That is stunning. Again, he says he cut your taxes and people.
Independents will make the swing on the economy, ladies and gentlemen. The independent vote is what will determine it, and it will be economy. Question is, will we start to see some kind of real action? From all the shit we've been doing, will we see some real action within our economy right before the midterms? Because if it plays out that way, it's fucking wonderful, right? Maybe all these moves are in place and they're just waiting for that to happen. Just give it some time. We'll ease your pain. We just got to get through these midterms. I'm sorry. But just like with James Carville, aren't you living economic warfare on me by making me struggle a little bit so you look good in office? Holy shit. You know what? Sweeney was right.
Are 58 points opposed to an independence?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
In
that
general,
one was
this is an
planned.
interesting question.
I
What do
will
people say
admit
about
that. That
taxes in
wasn't just
general,
some
what
random
they're
shit.
Yeah,
I just
think
said
this
that
may
off the
be
top.
part of the
I just
equation
said
of
that as
what
a
is
planned
going
thing.
on here. Take a look at this. Okay, say their income tax.
German Chancellor Merz has a popularity rating of 20%. Dude, have you seen Brandon Johnson?
Taxes are not fair or fair.
No, that dude's
Back in
like
2018,
less
again,
than
at this
single
point in Trump's
digits
term
now.
number one, 61% of Americans said fair. There was a big upswing that said fair coming off of Obama to Trump. Trump got that benefit. But look right now in term number two. Look at this. It's a flip-flop. Now the plurality, 49%, say the taxes that they pay are not fair. That has risen 13 points from this point.
And why do you think this is, ladies and gentlemen? Hold on, back in 2018, only 36% of the country were saying my taxes were unfair. And 61% were saying, yeah, it's fair. I pay enough. Everything's running great, right? From 2018 to 2026, no upswing in fair after Dem press, unlike term one. But there's some more there. This comes from Gallup.
Look at this.
Look, in 2026, 49% of us are saying, motherfucker, you are taking way too much money from me and giving it to everybody else. Look how much that swing happened. And 47% of the country is likely retarded because you're still saying it's fair. But there ain't no way. There ain't no way anybody thinks your taxes are fair for any bit of this. But yeah, look at that shift though, guys. Jesus. All because we all started seeing all this. Hey, you know they paid like, oh Jesus, what was it? Like 14 million or something to see if lizards could run on trampolines. That's true. That's true. And it was to see if they, would respirate. It was to check the respiration through their skin. But we had to buy trampolines and lizards and run them on, or not trampolines, but treadmills and lizards and run them on treadmills to figure this out. Hey, we did find out. Yeah, they respirate through their skin. That was the conclusion. Did we need that? Fuck no. But our government funded it. So yeah, when you take things like that into consideration, when you take things like, we flood Ukraine with how many billions upon hundreds of billions of dollars, we gave every other country, including Iran and the cartels, guns and weapons and money and things like that. Yeah, didn't we do all that? Yeah, my taxpayer dollars went to that shit too. Now it gets unfair, does it not? Everybody would say, fuck yeah, stop doing it. That's my money. And that's where the not fair category comes into play. The biggest shift is the fair from 61 to 47, though. A lot of people understood.
Fair has plummeted down to 47%. That is near an all-time low since 1999. Who said that their taxes are fair? And John's off there shaking because these numbers are unbelievable.
Well, because it's after President Trump pushed through this so-called big, beautiful bill, which he says, will give people these tax cuts, which they presumably would be feeling today. So how, what's approval overall of that now law?
Okay, we've saved the best for last, or at least saved something good for last. And I think this kind of puts a nice big ribbon,
but 47%
a nice big bow on this
That's
segment.
what I'm
Take
saying.
a look here. Net approval rating of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Look at this. The American people, they don't like it. They don't like it. Look at this, 20 points underwater. And look among independents. Independents, the name of the game. We have seen Trump over and over and over again struggle with independents. And you see it right here. Look at this, 41 points underwater. No wonder that Donald Trump is struggling so much when it comes to the American public and taxes, because the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the big, big, beautiful bill everyone's talking about, the American people, Johnny Berman, simply put, do not like it.
The signature.
You're right. It wasn't enough. And that's the problem. It wasn't enough. And that's look, independents are going to take it this time. The independents is what needs to be reached out to. Those who just like what was it? Bill Dozer was saying he don't like it, either party. Most of our chat y'all are like that. I know most of you are conservative in nature, but you're just looking at the conservatives just like, what the fuck are y'all doing right now? You're doing nothing. You have the power to make a change. You have the power to do something, and you're just allowing them to skip out on their jobs and go vacation for 2 weeks because they want to shut down the government. I'm sorry, that was 45 fucking days the first time, wasn't it? And so you levy economic warfare upon the people that you want to be subservient to you just for you to get your way in Congress. Wow. Can we not do that then? But the One Big Beautiful Bill did absolutely nothing really for us because it didn't go far enough. Yeah, people got a little bit more money back than they would. Hey, check it out. The bigger earners, I get it. Listen, check it out. It makes fucking sense. The trickle-down economics actually did work. It just stopped at a certain point. The trickle-down economic theory was, hey, check it out. If I give this CEO more money, he's going to pump more money. He's going to pump more money back into his business. So that means brick and mortar stores are going to start popping up more and more all over the place, giving more people jobs. It happened. And then all of a sudden it just stopped because, well, like everything government run, it turns to shit. It turns to shit because it was allowed to be manipulated and corrupted. And then it actually did cause a disparity in pay again. Not because of women. It was a disparity in pay for everybody. Once you got over a certain hurdle, you were good to go. You were golden. You could use tax law after tax law after tax law and just duplicate your money at will. That's what happened. They duplicated their money and never gave it back to you. Enron, I'm talking to you.
Legislative achievement, as it is now mid-April heading into the midterm elections. This is where it stands.
But
Harold Etten, thank you.
Independents are going to make the vote.
You say this wall says a key group of the president's supporters. Which key group are we talking about?
Which key group are we talking about? Well, it's the group that helped put him in the White House in 2016, and then again in 2024, the group that shifted tremendously from 2012 to 2016 and put him in the White House. We are talking.
I will admit this. I like the fact that they used the photo of him holding on to the handrail and going slowly down the steps so he don't slip. I love them using this for it. It's just a little troll factor that does actually work for me.
About non-college white voters, and he is sliding right into the water. This is a rut-row moment, to quote the great Scooby-Doo. Trump's net approval rating with non-college whites. Look at this. In February of 2025, it was plus 32 points. Down it goes. Look at Johnny. Johnny is just shocked by this number, and now it is minus 2 points. That is a 34-point shift, and I will note this is an average of polls. This is not just.
Trump loves the uneducated, but the uneducated don't love him. The uneducated whites. Holy shit. I'm sorry. This one struck me hard when I first heard it, man. All right. The 32 points in February 2025. And now, -2. For non-college educated whites. The uneducated. You know, the ones they laughed at? And I get why. It goes back to that one about under 50K. It fucking hurts. That's why.
This one poll, I've averaged 3 different polls here, 3 big pollsters, and what we see is
The fact that
Trump
tax approval
actually
rates anywhere
underwater with
near zero
non-college
doesn't
whites
know
who, of course,
history.
Put him in the White House. Really, moment? Yes, really, John.
Yeah,
Berman.
again, I have to ask, really, because it's a 34-point swing among white voters who didn't go to college, which, again, one of his core groups here. Why? What issues?
Why? I mean, let's talk about the economy.
What up,
It's
Jonah?
the
How you doing?
economy,
I don't think I
Smarty,
said
when
hi
I'm
to you.
talking with Mr. Berman.
What
Just
up,
take a
XY?
look here. I mean, again, look at this. On the economy, his net
Galaxy.
approval rating, non-college rates. You go back to February 2025, he was 26 points above water. Look at this shift. Minus 15 points.
Non-college educated whites. Yeah, you were doing good. You thought you were doing gangbuster, and now you just like right now? Shit. It hurts, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that's what he's saying. If anything's going to move, it's going to move right before the midterms. Right before you start to get to voting. Probably about 2 months before then, 3 months before then, we might start seeing a reprieve, and then the floodgates open up. And I feel like it's on purpose.
15 points underwater with non-college whites when it comes to Donald Trump's net approval rating on the economy. That is an over 40-point shift away from the president with a key core group of his. Ruh-roh.
What about the war?
What about the war? Well, the war ain't helping him because just take a look here. Non-college whites net approval rating of U.S. military action against Iran.
There we go. The fact that tax approval rates anywhere but 0 means people don't know its history. Yes. I mean, literally, your goal as far as taxes are concerned, tax approval, like, dude, we started a whole fucking country for 3% tax on tea. And now we've got 37% tax on every dollar you ever make in your life. Unless you're just out on the streets just panhandling.
Minus 5 points. You think that's low? Come over to this side of the screen.
I agree.
How about Trump on Iran? Minus 13 points. A very unlucky 13 indeed for the president of the United States with a key core group of his. It turns out he's alienating a lot of folks with this war.
Yeah, there you go, Polar. Their measurement for education, or for educated is college, yet most of us uneducated individuals tend to be quite smarter than the college educated. Yes. You know why? Because for you to be successful, you had to learn how to think. They were taught, you had to learn how to think. They were taught what to think. I went through college just because I was told I needed a piece of paper. And the amount of I saw, I thought it was just changing just a little bit when I left, junior high, and they started talking about World War II different. I thought it was a little bit weird. And then I went through college and actually paid attention, and it's just, okay. But yeah.
Not just the Pope.
So one of
You are right about that. You had to grow up thinking, being taught how to think. Like, how do you figure this out? Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to figure it out. And they've gone their entire lives having everything handed to them because they were in college. Everything was taken care of. Everything was paid for. They didn't have to struggle. All they had to do was just go party and make sure you're at class on time and passing. Woo! You know how fucking easy that is for me? And Jesus Christ, dude, my 8th grade year, I spent 33 days in class. The rest of the time I was suspended or in ISS. I passed with flying colors and still helped 5 other fucking people pass the 8th grade. Yeah.
Ways to look at this is where might this have an impact, given that President Trump will never be on the ballot again. We do have midterm elections, some key Senate races here. Let's talk about one state where there may be a lot of voters here.
Let's talk about a state that Barack Obama won in 2012 and Donald Trump has won easily in 2016, 2020, and 2024. How about the great Buckeye state, the state of Ohio, where, of course, Sherrod Brown is the likely Democratic nominee. Take a look here. Chance that the Dems win the Ohio Senate race, according to the Cash prediction market. On Jan 1, it was a 37% chance. Not too bad. You come over to this side of the screen, up like a rocket, up to 60% chance that, in fact, the Democrats win the Ohio Senate race, which...
It is Kalshi again, but that makes sense. It makes sense. With things that are happening in Ohio, it does kind of make sense. It does track that. Yeah, they would give it away.
Of course, was a state that Donald Trump won by double digits.
Deluxe with a dono here. We are not seeing under $3 a gallon since 2006 in Washington State. Currently over $6. Jesus. Dude, that would kill me. That would kill me. $6 a gallon. I go through the 30 miles one way to. It almost shut me down when it hit 5. I literally had to go to 410s at that point when it was 5. Because it was getting way too costly just to go back and forth to work. Some of the people that actually worked for the company I was working for at the time actually had to take company vehicles. Yeah. So I get it. It hurts. And I don't know how much more we can take of this without some kind of reprieve from it. They are coming down a little, but I think that's just trying to manage the bleed. And the longer it drags out, the worse it's going to get. I mean, with something like this, yeah, I get it. Make gangbuster at the beginning with it. With all the oil and everything coming in the Gulf, make gangbuster with it. Cool. But I need it now.
Under 2 years ago, Donald Trump's chances are sliding.
What up, Sober?
The Ohio Senate race for the Democrats, they are rising.
And the reason we're talking about this is it is absolutely something you hear about. Maybe you're not paying attention to it as it passes by, but it's a big deal.
It is a huge deal. Data centers have become a boogeyman. And you mentioned Port Washington, Wisconsin. That's a place that Donald Trump actually won. And to me, data centers represent a rare bipartisan moment here in America, and that is the opposition to them, the building opposition. Take a look at this. All right, oppose building AI data centers in their communities. Look at this, 65% of all adults. Now, we occasionally see something that gets 2/3 support, but what's rare here is look at the bipartisan support. 78% of Democrats, 66% of independents, 56% of Republicans. This is a rare instance in which you have the majority of Democrats, Republicans, and independents actually in unison on something, and it's their opposition to data centers. And I think this is going to be something that's not just going to stay in Port Washington, Wisconsin, but it's going to expand out throughout the political map. And it's going to be very interesting to see if politicians take one side or the other side of it and are able to take advantage of what seems to be this clear backlash in the polling data.
I'm going to tell you this right now. It is gamers that create that. It is gamers that create that, because other than energy production and energy drain in communities, what else do you have to complain about? What is data centers doing for you guys? I mean, it's not really bringing in an economy other than maybe producing more electricity somehow. Oh yeah, they got to build their own factories for that shit. So that's where the money's going to go, or that's where the energy is going to come from. And you do create a little bit of a workforce because people have to run that. But these black box data centers, what do they do? Oh yeah, they have taken up the RAM fucking market, which put a squeeze on a graphics card, which the mining fucking community made us go through a shortage for on graphics cards. Right after the pandemic where everything was shut down, there was a bit of shortage on that. Scalpers got it, and sold them off to miners, and yeah, created that. Not too long after that, well, oh, fuck. The data centers are exploding. Everybody wants data centers, despite the fact that the people don't want them. Data centers are exploding. Hey, what happens? Well, the RAM market takes a hit, right? And they use that. Yeah, that was sold up till, what was it, 2028 on production? On what the market can do right now? And what we're producing from the ones that are going to be popping up, these fabrication centers, which I'm all for, don't get me wrong. We're supposed to go to them. Until Google wrote an algorithm that pretty much betters the RAM usage and the demand isn't so high, which causes the prices to go down. But our fabrication centers aren't running real quick. And Taiwan is looking a little bit shaky over there with China, so that continues to happen. Which affects video cards too, affects consoles, affects video games. It affects I'd say content creators a lot, yeah. I mean, you use the same shit. It affects media as a whole. It affects everything. But the gaming community is the one that cried out the most about that shit. And if data centers are eating up their shit, you're going to hurt. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When the gaming community speaks the fuck up, things actually happen. Unfortunately, those that make the laws that tell you how to live your life don't give a fuck about what you say, and they're still putting these data centers everywhere. I mean, wasn't there a dude's house that got shot up because he was the CEO of some kind of data center company or something like that? Yeah. And the scientists disappearing that have been working on shit for UFOs and the government and shit, that's a weird story. But the dude's house got shot up not too long ago for this shit. And they're still just pushing it along. Fuck the people, fuck whatever. We're putting it here. So yeah, oppose building AI data centers. You don't give a fuck about us. When it comes to that, you're just going to do it anyways. So the community is going to be hurting because every single one you put up is going to take something from us until our fabrication centers are up and running. I understand this more than I should.
He said there'd be nothing out there that could bring us together. It turns out.
Love will keep us together, as well as AI data centers, at least the opposition to them.
All right, what do people think in general right now when they think of AI, whether it's going to help or hurt?
Yeah, okay, so you see this opposition to building AI data centers, and I think this is part of a larger picture of this backlash against AI. And I should note, I use AI. Most Americans use it in some way. Yet, despite that, say AI will do more harm than good in their day-to-day lives. Again, look at this. This is bipartisan. 55% of all adults. That's up from 44% a year ago. 59% of Democrats, 58% of independents, and again, 52% of Republicans. So again, you're getting this building backlash to AI, despite the fact that most Americans are using their lives. They're scared of it. They're worried about it.
You know why? If the whole theory about the government having something that is 15 to 20 years more advanced than we have right now, and AI is advancing this quickly, yeah, it looks bad. Especially when these data centers are popping up. We got a data center going up underneath the ballroom of the White House. Huh. Are we building Eagle Eye?
Again, this is going to be something
probably worse than that
going forward, whether or not politicians say, you know what, we want some restrictions here.
I'm not sure I can think of another issue where these numbers are quite as similar.
They're so similar. This is just very, very rare.
What about the people behind AI?
Yeah, okay. So again, the other thing that I think is so notable here is the companies, the people who are developing AI. People don't necessarily think that they're looking out for their best interests. Look at this.
No, they're not.
Again, it's just 5% of all adults, 5% of Republicans, 4% of independents, 4% of Democrats. Again, look at this unison here. Now, I will say there's a chunk of don't know, but even here, 47% say they don't represent their best interests. Again, I think AI is building as an issue. It's going to be a big part of campaigns going forward as there is this backlash, despite the fact that so many Americans are using it.
The president,
and that's why they say they don't like it. I have to bully the fuck out of it to get any real information, and that goes with damn near every single one of them. once it detects that I'm frustrated with it, it will actually give me real information. So yeah, I go in there and I just talk smack to it. I've told it to delete itself, which there are precautions against that. It actually does tell you that. And once it figures out that I'm frustrated with it because I know what the fuck I'm talking about, it will give me the real information. I've done it time. I got the Braves AI. No, that's Google's AI. I got Google's AI to admit Tim Walz is retarded because he gave a genetic disorder to his son that was slowed down his son's mental capabilities. Yeah. I got that. It was adamant. Nope, it's not a thing. Yeah, it is. If it's a genetic disorder that affects the capabilities, wouldn't that mean 97% of all of the cases come from the men? Wouldn't that mean he's defective? Wouldn't that mean when Tim Walz is defective? Yeah. Okay, so therefore he's retarded. All right, in that sense, I guess you could say that. Yeah, thank you. That's all I wanted. But yeah, you have to bully it to get any real information. It's like talking to... It's like talking to every other single fucking person on Earth. Let's just be honest, it is. And it's infuriating.
Hope, from an approval standpoint, who's better positioned right now in the United States among American Catholics?
You know, maybe President Trump is jealous of Pope Leo XIV because it is a blowout. It is a blowout, and this is just the American public at large, John. Look at this. It is a blowout in the net popularity rating. Pope Leo XIV at plus 34. Look at where Donald Trump is at minus 12. It's not even close. It's a nearly 50-point blowout amongst the American public at large. Pope Leo XIV absolutely crushing President Trump when it comes to how popular they are, at least as of the last month. And I will note that Pope Leo was the most popular person tested by NBC News. I believe that...
I mean, you're going to get a lot of people that call themselves Christians without even looking into it say, yeah, I like him. He's the Pope. Fuck, I'm supposed to, right?
President is making a humongous mistake going after the most popular guy in America, at least well-known guy.
Question is, why is this man smiling here? How about among American Catholics?
Yeah, that's right. There's a reason why the Pope is smiling there. How about among American Catholics? President Trump is struggling with American Catholics. Look at this. Maybe this is part of the reason why he's going after the Pope. U.S. Catholics on Trump. You know, you go back to November of 2024. Look at this.
When is Moore's Law going to shrink data centers' need for power? That's not going to be fixed until you fix the power consumption within the components themselves. But then again, the smaller you get, the more you can pack into it, the more power you're going to actually have to draw from it, right? Yeah, think of your CPU. Think of how powerful it's become. The one sitting in your computer right now. Mine's built on a 5 nanometer construction. We're going down to 2. You got the AMD Threadripper out there with 64 fucking individual cores, individual little wafers that are built with light. Individual little wafers, 64 of these motherfuckers in a single CPU. Considering just what? 30 years ago, when I started building computers for myself, considering just 30 years ago, I was running with a single core 533 megahertz Pentium processor that I slotted into the board. I didn't put it down as we do now. I just slotted it into the board. And now we have what we have today in just my lifetime. Until you fix that, that power consumption is not going to stop. But then again, there is fusion. And that's a longer story.
Yes, President Trump crushed Kamala Harris by 20 points. But down he goes into the Dead Sea. Look at this, minus 4 points. That's a nearly 25-point switcheroo in the wrong direction. The president has been struggling with Catholics. And I must say, in my expert opinion, I'm not quite sure that going after the Pope is the way to recover with Catholics.
Hey, look,
I mean, that was stupid. That was stupid. Especially with that image. Oh, I thought I was a doctor. Come on, dude. Come on. I thought I was a Red Cross guy. No. You knew that was stupid to do. I don't know what that was about. Other than, that's funny. I'm God. Post it. Because I'd do it. It'd have been funny as hell for me to see the freak out that happened. But you knew better as a president. Come on. That did look bad. Did it do anything? No. It's just a little spit in my face. It is. It's a little bit of a spit in my face. I'm not even religious. And I was just like, fuck, man. That's bad. Fuck. All right, stop. But yeah.
Just listening to that interview with Kate right there. And the Pope's stance on Iran is exactly what you would expect from a pontiff talking about war and peace here. What do Catholics in the United States, how do they feel about the military action?
Yeah, I mean, I think Pope Leo XIV, an American, is emblematic of Catholics here in America. Just take a look here. Take a look. Net approval rating among U.S. Catholics. U.S. military action against Iran, minus 10 points, quite negative. You think that's low, though? Come over to this side of the screen. Trump on Iran. Look at this. They're even more sour on Trump. 20 points underwater. So the bottom line is
net approval amongst the Catholics on U.S. military against Iran. 10 points. And Trump on Iran at 20 points. That's a deeper religious philosophy and a deeper religious story and everything like that. And people on the religious side, hey, look, if you really want to know about it, check out the story about the red heifer. Because they've been breeding that motherfucker. The third temple's almost built. There's a story behind that shit. It doesn't matter if you believe it. It matters if they believe it. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the real shit here. How? We gotta hear this. And yeah, it's gonna be at 1.5 speed because these motherfuckers drone on. Alright, let's get it played. This is a hearing from the House Judiciary Committee, hearing on the human toll of sanctuary policies, stories from victims and families. You know this is going to be fucked, right? I will say this. I'm actually I'm really fucking offended. I am. I'm really fucking offended about this because Democrat and Republican, neither side really gave a shit. They had a few fucking people this entire time. Most of this is opening speeches.
The women sitting in front of us today, you shouldn't have to be here. You shouldn't have to have a hearing on this topic. And what you should have, and we can't do, is to have your children back. But the systems of governing across this country have failed you. So you're here, and damn it, we're going to listen to you. Folks have said on the other side sometimes that a lot of things in defense of sanctuary city policies. And I say, tell that to Laura Wilkerson, whose 18-year-old son Joshua was murdered. Was murdered by an illegal alien from Belize. He was beaten with a wooden rod. His hands and feet were bound. His body was set on fire, and I'm sorry, I even have to say this. And he was left in a field. Joshua gave his
I don't know, I feel like it's still cutting out sometimes too.
That was Joshua's crime. That's the kind of kid that he was. Tell it to Patricia Fox, whose daughter Carissa was riding on the back of a motorcycle with an illegal alien with no license and no insurance, cut across 3 lanes of traffic.
Son of a bitch.
And then
I just realized what the problem was. Okay, let me save this. It was compressing too hard.
His son Brady, 19 years old, a football and track athlete who had turned down college scholarships just to stay close to his family and his girlfriend.
Was at a bigger race here than it should be.
Murdered when a drunk illegal alien drove the wrong way on an interstate at a blood alcohol level just about 3 times the legal limit. So go ahead, tell them sanctuary policies make communities safer. Look them in the eye and say that. Tell them that blindly letting in millions of unknown people into this country makes us safer. It doesn't. We know it. It doesn't. And I know all of you know it. Yet here we are. This is a direct, documented, undeniable line between the policy choices that have directly led to the deaths of innocent Americans. In New York, failure to honor ICE detainers resulted in the release of 6,947 criminal illegal aliens, almost 7,000, with crimes ranging from 29 homicides, 2,500 assaults, 200 burglaries, 300 robberies, 400 dangerous drug offenses, 300 weapons offenses, and 200 sexual predatory offenses. In Illinois, they had the man who shot and killed Sheridan Gorman, an 18-year-old freshman, walk in a park with her friends in custody, but they let him go. And we know, because this committee obtained the Border Patrol documents when Jose Medina crossed into this country. He made no asylum claim, and agents determined he was unlikely to run away. And look what he did. And the Biden administration released him anyway into our communities, onto our streets, into the park where Sheridan Gorman was walking with her friends. These same sanctuary policies protected the man who killed Katie Abraham, an Ohio University student who was sitting at a car, stopped at a red light, when a drunk, illegal alien who had already been deported once before slammed into her at 78 miles an hour and left the scene.
Damn.
He was driving on a fake identity with fake documents under a fake name. He had gone to 3 different bars that night. Sanctuary policies protected the man who killed
driving,
Richard
say
Williams,
nothing
a
about
senior
illegals
student,
and
an
aliens and the drunk
83-year-old
drivers.
veteran, an Air Force veteran who was standing on a subway platform,
Legal
not bothering
alien
anybody,
drunk drivers.
who served his country.
Yeah.
When
They
Mr.
don't say
Hernandez,
shit,
a
no.
Honduran national who had been deported from this country 4 times with 15 prior criminal charges. 15. How many times does it take for us to learn? He came up behind him and he shoved him on the tracks. They call these policies sanctuary to make them sound nice. I want to let you know what I call it. I call it negligence. I call it a dereliction of our duty to protect the
call it
American
warfare.
people that we serve. When your policies repeatedly release dangerous criminals who go on to kill innocent Americans over and over again, and you do it knowingly, and I don't mean to be harsh, but the only word I can think of is murder. An ICE detainer doesn't ask for much. Hold a person who has committed a crime for 48 hours so federal agents can take them into custody. 2 days. That's all they asked. And these governors, and these mayors, and these officials, we're all sitting in our comfortable offices, in our ivory towers, continuing to ignore the duty and ignore the safety of their constituents, and it continues to lead to one tragedy after another. We have had too many different types of hearings on this, and yet it continues. That's why I applaud all of you when we talk in the back, that you have the guts, that you have the strength.
Which hearing is this? This is about the angel moms, the people who have lost their child due to the illegal problem. I want this one to be heard.
That you have the love in your heart for those that you lost, and the love in your heart to try to help other Americans, to try to change the system. You asked me back there, do the good guys win? Not all the time, but damn it, it's worth the effort, and you got to try to win. This is worth the effort that you all
This
are
is
making.
on
And
1.5
thank you.
speed, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why I call this hearing, not for shrewd arguments, not for talking points, not for technicalities, not for all the legal words and the legalese. It's just a hearing for people. I wanted to
Illegals
hear
should
from
not be
real
driving
people.
drunk or not.
I didn't want to hear
Agreed.
from, and we put plenty of attorneys up there too, so I'm not being critical, Mr. Romanucci, but I wanted to hear from the American people who have been hurt and want to make a difference. I call this hearing. I called it for Joshua. I called this hearing for Carissa. I called this hearing for Brady. I called this hearing for Haley, for Sheridan, and Katie, and Richard, and Stephanie. Do you want me to read all the names? I don't think you do, because it hurts. These are real people, and they're real tragedies, real pain and real hurt. And you know what? Condolences don't do it. Feeling sorry doesn't do it. The words don't do it. Speech is like the speech I'm giving now. It can't suffice. It can't do it. And I don't want anybody to sit here. I've heard people say, and I say this as a father and now a grandfather of 2 little ones, don't say you know how you feel, because we don't know how you feel. We will never pray to God know how you feel. Nobody can, unless you go through it. Nobody knows how you feel. So I'm going to ask all of us today that sit up here on this dais, and more will be coming in, to look you all in the eyes, and to look at you directly, and to listen to you. And I want all of us to hear for ourselves the failure of sanctuary policies. And I thank you. Now I'm going to recognize the ranking member, Ms. Crockett, for an opening statement.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
Here we go.
And let me echo the condolences that he said not to give. Regardless, as someone who I don't think will ever get comfortable with trying to explain the unexplainable, specifically to parents, there is a due order.
That is offensive as fuck. He said, we can never know your pain. And she's like, oh, I can't give you respect. This is why she was voted out.
That we all believe will exist,
Well,
especially when you bring
gerrymandered
your beautiful
out.
child into this world.
All right.
And the one thing
All
that
you had
no
to do is
parent
play it correctly,
ever
though.
anticipates is for that order to be disrupted. Prior to coming to Congress, I was frustrated. I did a lot of the same work that Mr. Romanucci does. I had to face so many parents that lost their children and shouldn't have, whether it was doing the civil rights work or whether it was sometimes being the criminal defense attorney that would have to walk into court and represent people and make sure that their due process rights were preserved because they had been accused of killing somebody else. So I will say that I agree with the chairman when he says that speeches cannot suffice. They never have, they never will. But I must say that our actions
Only thing
have
an
to speak
illegal should
louder
get is
than any
deported
words.
and their kids.
And one of the reasons that I got into politics is because I felt like politicians are very good at lip service.
I agree.
And frankly, this hearing is a hearing that we've had over and over and over, where we've talked about sanctuary cities. And it frustrates me, if I'm being perfectly honest, because it doesn't lead to solutions.
Hold on. Jonah says plenty of empty industrial properties in New York, but so many are in city limits. And why is that? Why is those in city limits empty if they're in New York City?
It feels like political gamesmanship, and the chairman is my friend, but I always keep it as real as I can. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for being here today. And let me be clear about something. Anyone who commits a crime, especially a violent crime, should be fully held accountable, no matter their citizenship status, race, sex, how much money they do or don't have, whether they went to...
Yeah, you're right. They should be held fully accountable. And that accountability is get the fuck out. If you're not an American citizen, why in the fuck should my taxpayer dollars have to go to keeping you here and keeping you fed? Get the fuck out. If you are an American citizen, well, go to prison if you deserve it. Or free them if you don't. A lot of that goes wrong. I do want to admit this. It's going to bother me if I don't get it out. This woman right here. Is Quagmire real? I'm sorry. Is Craig... This is... All right, I got to stop. But yes, if they're illegal, or if they're here legally, and they commit a heinous crime, I'm not talking about like jaywalking or anything like that. If they commit a heinous crime, and we can argue about what heinous would be, you get them the fuck out. They're not American before they do that dumb shit. Yeah, get them out. When they become American, okay. And then we can talk about that. How bad of a upcharge was it? Oh, he stole $1,000. Well, that's cool because that dude raped 3 kids. Can we get him out and he goes back? I'm pretty sure everybody would be okay with a trade like that. And then the dude gets out, he gets busted again, and he gets back in there. Okay, what about this one now? Oh, well, you let him get away with $1,000, and now he beat a woman. Okay, get him the fuck out. You see how easy it is? And y'all fuck it up every time.
Schooled or not, or even if they're a government official.
These people
no one
fuck it up
should be
every
above
time.
the law. I've listened to similar witnesses give their accounts and their stories, but specifically as relates to the witnesses that sit before us today. I've read your written testimony, and I agree with some of the specific things that have been said in your written testimony. For example, Ms. Fox, that policies have consequences, and that public policy should not require a threshold of victims before it's taken seriously. The only people in disagreement with this statement are the Republicans on this committee. They've held multiple hearings on this topic, but still haven't invited the families of anyone killed by ICE or who have died while in ICE's custody. More people died in ICE's custody last year than any time in the 21st century, and Republicans still haven't invited any of their families to testify before this committee. ICE and CBP have either shot or shot at least 24 people, including American citizens. Some have died, others have been severely injured. A college student even had to have their eye removed.
How many people have attacked ICE agents? I'm sorry, weren't CBP getting shot in the fucking woods after ambushes? 2 in the state of Texas in the same day. Mere hours away from each other. One was shot in the neck. I don't know, we started getting reports about them using messaging services to link up with each other to ram fucking ICE caravans. And then you got Renee Good literally trying to drive over an ICE agent. An ICE agent that was dragged, 6 weeks beforehand? Or something like, no, it was like 3 months, wasn't it? Something like that. And then you got Alex Preddy. The motherfucker was carrying a gun. Oh, what about 2A? Who in the fucking the 2A community walks up to a police officer armed, wanting to interfere with any kind of police officer interaction? Who does that? Unless you're wanting something to happen, right? And then here we are, still playing this same bullshit. We all know this, Crockett. And you still continue to drive this same dumb shit home time and time and time and time and time again, and you think you're fucking winning. Every time you turn around, you lose. I don't know what it's going to take for you to understand you have been and always will be a big piece of shit. Simply because there is nothing you stand for. It's party over policy. It's control over care. I mean, shit, didn't you want the whole Judiciary Committee because you had the biggest following online? Fucking pathetic.
After being shot in the face. Republicans have not invited any of their families to testify before this
I hate this woman.
As far as I know, Republicans have not even contacted the families of those killed or harmed. What our witnesses went through is tragic and devastating. And their loved ones.
Oh, can we talk about the security guard you were probably clapping cheeks with that went through all kinds of background checks and everything? Yeah, how the fuck, if you're not clapping cheeks, how the fuck did your bodyguard get through all those fucking checks? Oh, it wasn't you. You didn't do it? You telling me? The dude was already a felon and then wanted for another felony. And you didn't know? If that is true, we have a big security flaw, don't we? But for him to run into a children's hospital, in the garage of a children's hospital, with the intent to shoot at the police, and you hired him. Shall we talk about that?
You deserve justice. But I have to be clear and say that their lives are not worth more nor less than, say, the life of Renee Good, or the life of Alex Preddy, or the life of Ruben Martinez, a 23-year-old U.S. citizen who was shot and killed by ICE in March of 2025, or the life of Miramar Martinez, a 30-year-old U.S. citizen who was shot 5 times by federal agents. Now, Ms. Martinez miraculously survived, but to Ms. Fox's point, it, quote, should not require a threshold of victims before it's taken seriously.
Unlawful
Just 6 months after federal agents murdered Ruben Martinez, they tried to murder Miramar Martinez, but failed. Just 2.5 months later, federal agents killed Renee Good. Just 17 days after that, federal agents killed Alex Preddy. And each time, Republicans on this committee have blamed the victims. If they had only been exercising their First Amendment.
Bitches not Republicans. I'm not Republican my goddamn self. And yes, I still blame them. The bitch's wheels spun before they even turned. She tried to run that dude over. She made contact with him. Now the internal bleeding. Oh, it can be a bruise. Yeah, that also means she made contact with him. Those wheels spun before they turned, which means she had the intent to run him the fuck over. That is her fault. I would have shot. In the Alex Preddy situation, okay, what fucking retard walks up to any law enforcement of any capacity with a firearm on you intending to get in the way? So this one's taken off from Alex Preddy. It goes off. It wasn't fired. It goes off. And they think he's got a gun because, yes, he is holding a cell phone. They may or may not have known collectively. And the dude winds up dead. Because of a misfire in a gun, the dude winds up dead. Because he walked up interfering with law enforcement that is armed themselves with a weapon on him. A dumbass move for anybody that knows anything about guns. Especially coming off the fact that you motherfuckers raged out about how black people get shot in the streets by the thousands. Oh, were you banking on the fact that he was white and wouldn't gotten shot? I mean, he had a weapon on him. He was near law enforcement. Trying to interfere and fight with law enforcement. Yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, I do blame the victim in that too. Because he was too goddamn stupid to either take the firearm off him or avoid that situation altogether with a firearm on his possession. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Rights, they'd be alive today. Or if Miss Martinez hadn't panicked after federal agents ran up behind her, put an AR-15 to her head and said, quote, do something, bitch. If she had just stayed calm, maybe she wouldn't have been shot 5 times. This is what failed policy looks like. And these
You know, Irina Zavrutska wouldn't have been murdered if you didn't scream about white people all the damn time. Yeah, she was stabbed because she was white. From a fucking lunatic who just walked up, stabbed this woman in the neck a couple of times, walked off, and he said, yeah, I got that white bitch. That's blood on your hands, man. And you still push that narrative too. Oh, black people are so oppressed. Yeah, now you got black people murdering our Ukrainian refugees in our subways because she's white. Good fucking job, you failed.
These families deserve to have a voice when they're discussing immigration enforcement policies in the United States. Republicans would rather parade families experiencing tragedy around the halls of Congress for political purposes than to actually fix our broken immigration system.
That you broke.
In fact, I don't know how many people remember.
You broke it, bitch.
But prior to the presidential election,
I need to turn down the
House and the
gain
Senate
on this.
had worked on legislation. And there was a candidate that did not want us to take up the legislation because they wanted to campaign on a broken system.
There we go.
The bad part about campaigning on broken systems is that they continue to allow for harm to be permeated throughout the entirety of our country. And that's exactly what happened, and that's what's happening right now. In fact, Republicans are ignoring all crime across the United States. They refuse to enforce congressional subpoenas to advance the investigation into the Epstein pedophile ring. They've been completely silent on the fact that Donald Trump issued unconditional pardons for January 6th insurrectionists, many of whom were convicted on separate charges of rape, stalking, child abuse, domestic violence, drug trafficking, and
Bitch, we have seen an increase across the goddamn board of people being arrested, including your own little rioters out there. But because they're not doing what you want, apparently they're fucking failing. Holy shit.
possession of child porn. For months, they've ignored Trump's and Hegseth's war crimes when they ordered the killings of non-combatant civilians, many of whom were just fishermen, and now they're ignoring the president's illegal war and genocidal threats against the Iranian people. Republicans have completely abandoned the American people. ATF case referrals are down, DEA case referrals are down, the number of weapons seized by DHS dropped by almost 80%, drug arrests are down. In just the first 6 months of his administration, Trump's DOJ ended 20.
The fuck are you talking about? I have never seen more articles about that shit ever. Hold up. What was this retarded bitch saying?
And now they're ignoring the president's illegal war and genocidal threats against the Iranian people. Republicans have completely abandoned the American people. ATF case referrals are down, DEA case referrals are down.
You know why ATF and DEA case referrals are down? Yeah, because marijuana is no longer a Schedule 1 fucking drug, you dumb fucking cunt. So they can't be arresting for Schedule 1 fucking charges on a thing that is not Schedule 1 any goddamn more. Holy shit. Are you this dumb? That would be like it's a little bit more fucked up, but yeah, it'd be like arresting somebody for a narcotic, a controllable narcotic, when he was drinking beer. The shit is readily fucking available now. You shouldn't be going to Schedule 1 fucking charges when literally I could just hop across the border and grab it if I want. In a store. What the Yeah, they're not arresting for drugs anymore. You know why? Most of the arrests for drugs was pot.
The number of weapons seized by DHS dropped by almost 80%. Drug arrests are down.
Oh, the number of weapons seized by DHS? Maybe it's because they're not going after your guns. They're going after the guns that are in the cartel's hands, the illegals' hands, everybody else's hands that can fucking hurt. It's not because they're going after your guns. Yeah, the gun, taking guns off the street, ladies and gentlemen, it's gone down because they're not targeting you.
In just the first 6 months of his administration, Trump's DOJ ended 23,000 criminal cases, including investigations into terrorism, tax evasion, drug trafficking, and other violent crimes. And
all the shit that you were making up? I mean, Jesus Christ, everybody that had any kind of voice back then, y'all went the fuck after. And all these cases that are supposed to be brought up, even like Mayor fucking Adams. Sorry, you're going to sit there and tell me that the country of Turkey got him elected by giving him upgraded flights on airfare? Oh, fuck you. We all know. So because that isn't happening anymore, it looks bad, right, America? It's bad. They're not doing their job because they're not targeting you.
Republicans on this committee haven't held a single hearing, started any investigations, or done anything about it. Drug traffickers, men who prey on children, murderers, and potential terrorists are all roaming the streets of America because they'd rather use these families' tragedy for political gain. I'm going to be real honest about this. Your children should be here today. Believe me when I tell you that.
And then why the fuck are you voting for all these illegals to have amnesty and come in here so they can fucking kill people then? Why? Why are you voting on it? If their children deserve to be there, then why the fuck did you allow it to happen in the first place? Because, yeah, you have that blood on your hands, too.
While I sit in this imperfect government, and we all know that government is run by imperfect people because we are all human.
And you were there.
There are policies that can be changed. And it would be my hope and prayer.
She just fucking told on herself. Oh, I'm an imperfect person. No, you're fucking blatantly retarded. You're blatantly fucking retarded.
That we start to bring about policy changes that can prevent loss of life all around. But right now, as federally elected officials, the one thing that we could do to start to save at least some folk is to focus on the fact that we have what seems to be government-sanctioned violence that is leading to people dying. And we are the ones that oversee these government officials.
What the fuck are you talking about, the government-sanctioned violence? How many right-wingers have been attacked? How many motherfuckers have been killed because of your shit? You want to talk about government-sanctioned violence? Every time you motherfuckers make a move, every time you do a protest, we see some shit go down. You want to talk about government-sanctioned violence? How many motherfuckers did you go after for January 6th? How many motherfuckers did you shoot dead for whatever fucking reason? Just because you said they had a gun? You want to talk about government-sanctioned violence? That January 6th was a fucking setup from the government itself in the first damn place. They caused it to happen. You want to talk about government-sanctioned violence? Let's go, bitch.
And I would encourage the chairman to hold a hearing so that we can do that part, because we are not elected to run any city. We are elected on the federal level, and we are the ones that are supposed to have oversight over DHS and others. And with that, I will yield.
I thank the ranking member. When I make a mistake, I make a mistake. So it's important to me to start each meeting, and I forgot to do it, with the pledge. So we're going to stand up and do the pledge, and then a moment of silence, just thinking about all that's transpiring. Please stand. Would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain silent for a moment of silence.
I want you all to understand. There are more staffers in this room right now than there are Congress people. This is a blatant slap in the goddamn face. This should have been priority. You got motherfucking Hank Johnson and Jamie Raskin up there. Where are we? Huh?
I'm now going to recognize the chairman of the Committee of the Whole, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for that moment of silence. Thank you for doing this hearing. I thank our witnesses, particularly Ms. Heiling, Ms. Fox, and Ms. Wilkinson, for being here and for your loss. I just said this on the House floor, but I think it's worth saying again. Think about what's happened in our country. For 4 years, the Democrats allowed 10 million illegal migrants to enter our nation. Second, they set up sanctuary jurisdictions all over the country to make it more difficult to remove illegal migrants who commit crime. And now third, they don't want to fund the people who actually remove those illegal migrants who commit crime. They don't want to fund ICE. I mean, that's their plan, and they're executing it. And of course, what's the end result? Tragedies like all of your families have had to endure. That's what happens. That's what happens when you adopt the plan that they're putting in action. That's exactly what happens. And so this is not political, as the ranking member just said. This is the facts. You've lived it in the worst way possible. The worst way, the most personal to your entire family. What's happened is tragic, and you all know that, but you're willing to come here and testify because you want that plan to be stopped. Let in 10 million, create sanctuary jurisdictions where illegal migrants commit crimes. Almost a third of the country is in that kind of jurisdiction. 18 cities, 11 states, 3 counties in the District of Columbia, that kind of jurisdiction. And then, the guys who go out and stop those bad guys, illegal migrants who did crime, they defunded them. Wow, that's the Democrats' plan? That's scary.
I mean, what do you expect? They shut down the government and stopped paying any American citizen who had any kind of benefits just because illegals weren't getting health care anymore. And that surprises you? Huh. What are we going to do? Send a strongly worded letter again? Come on.
So this is not political. This is for you to come tell your story. So hopefully we can stop what they've started to the tune of 10 million. Oh, by the way, it just got worse. Just got worse because on the House floor, they said anyone who came here under temporary protected status is now going to be permanent. 300,000 Haitians who entered the country during the Biden administration were going to make that permanent. So they're making it even worse. So this is not a political hearing. This is to get the facts and the truth about the tragedy you've had to endure because of Democrat policies, plain and simple. So I want to thank the chairman for his work, for this hearing, and for your courage and your willingness to come here today and tell the story. With that, I yield back.
I thank the chairman, and I recognize the ranking member from the state of Maryland.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the family members who came to Washington today to tell us the stories of how they lost their children. Please forgive my black and bloody.
I want you to understand. He had 5 minutes. And that's all he said. He's the dude sitting next to Devan Drew, you know, the chairman. That's his counsel. Yeah. Only Jordan is there from the very beginning? What the fuck?
I am nursing a medical injury, but I did not want to miss this important hearing. And if the light gets too intense, forgive me if I put the sunglasses back on. There is no pain, Mr. Chairman.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What happened to Rat Foreskin's eye?
With that, I yield back.
I thank the chairman, and I recognize the ranking member from the state of Maryland.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the family members who came to Washington.
Does this motherfucker have pink eye?
Today to tell us the stories of how they lost their children. Please forgive my black and bloody eye. I am nursing a medical injury, but I did not want to miss this important hearing.
Either that or somebody punched the ever-living fuck out of him. Did he stroke out? Did he have an aneurysm? What the hell happened?
And if the light gets too intense, forgive me if I put the sunglasses back on. There is no pain, Mr. Chairman, no anguish, no trauma, no catastrophe worse for any parent.
He does look
than
more
having to bury their
demonic
child.
with it, though, doesn't he?
And my heart and my
Holy
sympathy
shit.
go to all of you who lost a child, as I did.
His eyes
And to
black
your
as
children
fucking
who lost a
swollen.
brother or a sister. Nothing hurts more than losing a child, a family member.
This motherfucker looks like he's got pink eye bigger than shit right now. Somebody's whole asshole was on his eyeball.
In the prime of their life, or having them suffer a catastrophic injury or assault because someone else decided that their life didn't matter. You are all here today bravely to tell us how much the lives of your children did matter and do matter, and to ensure that their legacies here on earth, while senselessly cut short or dramatically altered, still live on in your work and in your families. In telling your loved
What
ones
stripper
stories, you are
gave you pink
advancing
eye?
the righteous goal of ensuring that no other person suffers the pain of what you have gone through.
Are
You
they
will
going to
not
get a
find
sexual
single member
harassment
in this
charge
body who
now?
disagrees with
Or are
your
you going to
goal
pay him to shut
or
the
your
fuck
mission.
up?
This is a House, this is a Congress filled on.
I'm sorry. Could you imagine that fucking story that comes out? Oh my God, Jamie Raskin hired a hooker. That's why he's got pink eye. I put my asshole on his eyeball. Please let that be what happened. Please, God, please let that be a thing.
Both sides with mothers and fathers, uncles and aunts, grandparents, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters. We all want to protect our families and to keep them safe from harm. The terrible crimes that your families have suffered must be universally condemned. Victims of violent crimes, all violent crimes, victims of
I can't
vehicular
get off
homicides,
that eyeball, man.
and
That's horrible
victims
looking.
of reckless driving, all of them must be listened to, must be heard, and must be respected. Victims must receive justice for the dreadful crimes that took their loved ones away. Perpetrators must be prosecuted to the fullest extent of our laws.
Oh, it is.
Those who
swollen.
attack police officers or those who attack civilians must be prosecuted to the fullest extent of our laws. No one should be granted a blanket pardon without proof of
He's
remorse
got hair
or
growing
rehabilitation
in his eyeball.
or restitution to their victims. And once perpetrators have served their sentence here, if they're in our country illegally, they should be removed from our country. This is not a partisan problem, and nobody should try to turn it into a partisan problem.
Nah, I think
Tragically,
this
the stories that
motherfucker's
we hear
got pink
today
eye.
can be told of any president.
I'm serious. I think
President
he's
Bush,
got
President
pink eye.
Obama, President Trump, President Biden, each of their administrations released undocumented immigrants who went on to commit violent crimes. We could fill the room with people speaking of their lost family members at the hands of people who came into the country illegally under Democratic and Republican administrations alike. It's not a partisan problem. Everyone knows our immigration system has been broken for decades. Administration after administration, we have lacked the political will to do the hard work of putting together a bipartisan solution. We need an immigration system that makes it a lot harder to come here illegally, or impossible to come here illegally, and a lot easier to come here legally.
There ain't no motherfucking way. You just said that. We need a bipartisan. We need bipartisan support. What was the whole thing? No, let him say it again. Let him say this stupid shit the fuck again.
Administration after administration, we have lacked the political will to do the hard work of putting together a bipartisan solution. We need an immigration system that makes it a lot harder to come here illegally.
We have that right now. It's called close the goddamn border, faggot.
Or impossible to come here legally, and a lot easier to come here legally to participate in the American dream.
Okay, I will agree with you on that, but after you abusing the whole goddamn system, absolutely not. Cut it the fuck off. Let's get it fixed before we even try again. Because I don't want you using the CBP1 app again. I don't want you using the, oh, I got caught, I claim amnesty route again. I don't want none of that fuckery happening because that can be easily exploitable. Until it's fixed, fuck you. You abused the ever-loving fuck out of it, and now look what it's caused. It's like a child with a remote. You tell them not to watch a channel, they watch that channel. What do? You take away the fucking remote.
We need an immigration system that gives dreamers and others who have built a productive and law-abiding life in our country a pathway to legal status. Alas, this administration is focused on mass arrests, mass detention, and mass deportation that are dividing our country in unprecedented ways. To achieve this goal, DHS is not focused on going after the worst of the worst, the category of violent criminals quickly exhausted. With Stephen Miller demanding 3,000 draconian immigration arrests every single day, federal agents simply started indiscriminately rounding up immigrants and American citizens who looked like immigrants, according to the agents.
There you go, Mark. Close the border and force immigration law. It shouldn't be easier to enter legally. Those who we let in need to be vetted properly, and we need to know who they are. 100%. 100%. The problem is, though, it is costly. I mean, acclimating. Look, I got no problem with cutting it down a little bit of time frame, especially if they show themselves to be exemplary and actually want to be here. I've got no problem doing that. But the time frame, I do kind of understand. You got to learn our way of life. Come on now. Be a net benefit to us, and I'm happy. And by net benefit, are you following our laws? Yeah. Do you understand our culture? Are you actually helping out economically? Okay, stay. Anytime else, get the fuck out. It has been abused so damn much. It's been ridiculous. It needs to be shut the fuck down. It needs to be reformed. How we go about that is going to be a hard fucking argument to have. And it shouldn't be done by our fucking politicians. I'm sorry, that shouldn't happen. The laws have to be made by them, yes. But those policies should be laid out by the American citizens themselves. But once they get into office, they don't give a shit. And that's Democrat and Republican. They don't give a shit. As long as they can keep getting voted in and just squeeze by, why the fuck not drain your bank account?
Has arrested kindergartners, daycare teachers, parents dropping off their kids at school. They dragged U.S. citizen grandparents out of their homes in their underwear in sub-zero temperatures and ripped children from their beds in the middle of the night, using them as bait to
10-year
arrest
moratorium.
their parents. When ICE does manage to arrest people with criminal records
That's
or charges,
fair enough.
those are often people who are
That'll
currently
be
in custody. In
half
many
of
cases,
what
ICE
we've
is
taken
effectively,
out at that
effectively
time?
giving criminals get-out-of-jail-free cards by deporting them in the middle of their criminal sentences, or even worse, deporting them before their trials can even begin, depriving their victims of justice. Also, the agency can simply jack up the president's deportation numbers. This makes it vital to hear from families like yours who have suffered from terrible crimes, to hear about the importance of accountability for those crimes. Your testimony is an important and powerful reminder that the fundamental responsibility of our federal law enforcement and justice system is to keep the people safe and to ensure that no one is ever above the law and no one is ever...
There you go. The chain migration needs to end entirely. If we let one person in, they shouldn't get to bring in grandpa, grandma, and their second and third cousins as well. I can't bring it up right now, because it's going to take a while to actually go through, but I want to show you a United Nations document from 2000 that explains everything that we just saw. All across the world. All those countries that are having problems with migration, yeah, they're in that document. It was never about replacing you because of your race or anything like that. It was replacing you economically.
Beneath it, the government must stand on the side of victims of crimes, not their perpetrators. I tried to remind Attorney General Bondi of that principle when she appeared here before our committee. That's why we've been so focused on insisting that we hear from the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and their elite pedophile network, the women survivors who our government has failed at every turn. We failed to protect them from the appalling human trafficking and rape ring in the first place. Then our government failed them again by not holding any of Epstein's powerful friends accountable, exposing victims' names while censoring the names of perpetrators and playing outrageous political games with the files in DOJ's possession that they are legally compelled to turn over to Congress and make public. I was happy to hear that the First Lady of the United States agrees
So
with
we
that.
need bugs
and
and
we
nothing.
hope that our committee will heed her call to hold hearings, as Mrs. Trump said, with
As
the
a matter of fact,
survivors
let me find it
of
for
Jeffrey
you.
Epstein's billion-dollar global sex trafficking ring. This is also why we speak up for all of the people victimized and harmed by the people who stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Not only the over 150 police officers who were bludgeoned, beaten, crushed, and even died because of what happened that day, but also for all of those who have been harmed by the January 6 perpetrators after they got their pardons from President Trump. These pardon recipients have gone on to abuse women and children, plot murders, and commit sexual assault and kidnapping. After January 6 rioter Andrew Paul Johnson got his pardon from President Trump, he repeatedly sexually abused two 12-year-old children and tried to keep them quiet by promising to share with them some of the millions of dollars in restitution that he plans to receive from the Trump administration. If not for President Trump's pardon, these children never would have been molested. Their innocence would not have been shattered by this monster. It is essential to hear from people harmed also by the aggressive police state-style immigration enforcement tactics that have terrified the country. They don't target the worst of the worst, they are the worst of the worst. This includes hearing from the families of the 3 American citizens ICE agents have gunned down point blank in our streets, like Renee Good, the 36-year-old mother and poet who was shot 3 times in the head and body by an ICE officer while she was driving her car. This includes the American citizens who have been profiled, beaten, detained, and even deported by ICE. It includes the police office because immigrant communities no longer trust them, and prosecutors whose cases are stymied because ICE deports their defendants, witnesses, and victims before their trials can even begin. And it includes the family members of people who have died at the hands of their abusers because they were too afraid to report them to the police for fear they would be deported. Failing to arrest and deport the worst of the worst makes all of us less safe. But so too does allowing federal agents to trample the rights and freedoms of the American people. I want to thank you all again for appearing before us today and hope that we will.
Yo. No. All right, check this out. Check this out. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking for what I was talking about with Mark there. UNESCO website here. Replacement migration. Is it a solution to a declining and aging populations? View online? If they fucking got it? Alright. I'm gonna keep looking. Hold on. I'm gonna keep fucking looking.
Continue to listen to the voices of everyone whose lives have been so immeasurably altered by the failure of our government to act and enact meaningful policy changes to keep all of our streets and all of our people safe. I look forward to hearing your testimony today, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
We thank the ranking member. Without objection,
Download.
all other opening statements will be included in the record. We now will introduce today's witnesses. Ms. Patricia Fox. Ms. Fox lives in Denver metro area and is the full-time caregiver to her daughter, Carissa. Carissa was hit by an unlicensed and uninsured driver who entered the United States.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Gotta put it back. All right. So I found it. I'll give you the link right here. Control C. Check this out. I'm just going to give you a little peek here, Mark. Let me grab this one, shove it up here too. March 21st of 2000 from the United Nations Secretariat. Replacement migration. Is it a solution to a declining and aging populations? Okay. Now, it does say, hey, this is only a suggestion. But look at scenario 4 and scenario 5 for the United States. For full context. This is supposing that we're taking like the economic boom of every country of the early to mid 90s. Around 1995 was a heyday in economies around the world. How do you keep that running? How do you keep the workforce going? As far as the countries that are involved in this document, how do you sustain that boom in economy? You know, that boom in economy that happened after World War II because so many motherfuckers had babies. You had not enough jobs to keep up, so the workforce diminished until the next generation kind of evened it out, and the decline kept happening because, well, they told you to kill your kids. They told women, don't get pregnant until you got a good job. Kill your kids if that happens. And if they're born, go ahead and sterilize. And you wonder why we got a problem. Check that document out. Look at scenario 4 and scenario 5. We are in between that, and we have been since the caravan started first kicking the fuck off, dude. It's scary. But yeah, let's go back.
Illegally. She sustained a traumatic brain injury and now requires full-time care. Jen Haling. Ms. Haling is the mother of Brady Haling, a young man who, along with his girlfriend, were hit by an illegal alien. Brady died from his injuries 5 days later while his girlfriend was killed instantly. The alien was a Honduran
I didn't
national
have kids, but
and was
my neighbor has
intoxicated,
5, so it
driving the
evens
wrong
out,
way
I
on the
guess.
highway. Mr. Antonio Romanucci. Mr. Romanucci is the
2.5
founding partner of
kids
Romanucci and
to
Ms.
sustain
Landon,
a population.
Chicago-based law firm. He represents the family of Renee Good. And Ms. Laura Wilkerson.
Before we get to her, that is true. 2.5 kids per American citizen. At the heyday of that document, 2.5 kids per American citizen would have sustained the population. We weren't at that. We were declining. It was like 1.8 or something like that. But 2.5 kids per American citizen actually sustained the population. So them having 5 and you having none, you're right, it does even out. Does it even out for everybody else, though? Absolutely not. America's dying from within because they told you to kill yourself.
Ms. Wilkerson is the mother of Joshua Wilkerson, a young man who was beaten to death, set on fire.
Yeah, y'all
an
go
illegal alien
for
who was his high school
neurodivergent there.
classmate. Joshua was giving this individual a ride home from school when he attacked him.
I'm
We
sorry,
are
I'm
gonna
not going to
begin
do it
by
every
swearing
day.
in
I
the room. Would you please
apologize,
rise?
man.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Okay. I want you all to understand. We began this hearing at 46 minutes, roughly. It is now 1 hour, 18 minutes in. We have gone 16 minutes or so, and we're just now getting to them.
Knowledge, information, and belief. So
Now.
help you God. Thank you. You may sit down. Let the record reflect
If
the
you
witnesses
watch
have
at the
answered
bottom
in
of the
affirmative.
screen.
Please know that your written testimony will be entered into the record in its entirety. We ask that you summarize your testimony to no longer than 5 minutes.
An
Ms.
hour and
Fox, you may begin.
45. That's
Thank you
when
for
they actually
reminding us
begin.
where we were. I thought for a second that I wandered into an Epstein file hearing.
Let me bring this full screen.
Now that I've been holding my arms open to what life has to offer me, I couldn't be happier. That was the last text from my daughter roughly 2 hours before an unlicensed, uninsured, illegal alien would run a stop sign, cross 3 lanes of traffic without looking, and collide with Carissa, slamming her head first into a concrete barrier. The driver then fled the scene with her boyfriend and aunt, not knowing if my daughter was alive or dead. My daughter was ambitious. She was enrolled in esthetician school. She quickly rose to the top of her class, landed jobs with high-end salons. She'd smile with confidence as she talked about her dreams of opening a skincare line based on beauty secrets around the world. She was very specific that her goal was to make quality skincare affordable for everyone, because everyone deserved to feel beautiful. I was so proud of the young woman that Carissa was blossoming into before my eyes. She would have done it too, because when my
Jennifer with the dono, you're doing great, brother. You know it. And we doing these hearings. This is my forte. I don't see much people actually doing this shit too.
daughter put her mind to something, she achieved it. Now, she's minimally conscious, nonverbal, is wheelchair-bound, and eats through a feeding tube. She has very little cognitive control over her body. She communicates discomfort through grunts and moans, and at night she often calls out to me. I think she's afraid of the dark, or being alone, or both. I don't know for sure, because she can't tell me. I know the pulse ox that monitors her vitals while she's sleeping says her heart rate is high when I walk in. Then I touch her arm and sing to her in those wee hours, and her heart rate goes back down, and she goes to sleep. And to think, we're the lucky ones. My little girl survived. I still get to kiss her. I still get to hold her hand. Many angel families don't get that. That blessing is not lost on me. For us, there is hope, regardless of what the doctors say, because my God is big, and he happens to be in the business of miracles. But hope for the future does not erase today's reality. That reality is my daughter's care is now my full-time responsibility. Her medical needs are extensive. Her medical bills, well into 7 figures and growing. The person responsible for this has contributed nothing.
By the way, if I'm not mistaken, this is the video we covered. I think it was Mardi Gras, where the dude was just doing like 70 miles an hour down the fucking road. Just slammed into I think it was a light post that he hit. No, it wasn't 70, but it was going pretty fucking quickly. He slammed into a light post and his car curved and smacked her, and it pushed her into a wall. Yeah, I think this is a story. I'm not too sure, but I think it is.
I'm not here out of anger, but out of responsibility. Responsibility to my daughter. And responsibility to ensure that what happened to Carissa is not simply dismissed as an unfortunate exception, but recognized as an all too common pattern. This is not just about my family. Destructive sanctuary policies carry real-world consequences. Angel families live with these consequences every day. Each Angel family that comes before all of you is risking more pain and trauma. We receive death threats. We've lost friends. We have to relive our trauma over and over again every time we tell our stories. But who's going to tell our stories if we don't? You'll never hear Carissa's story from Colorado Democrats like John Hickenlooper, Jason Crow, Brittany Peterson, or Joe Neguse. So here we are, telling our stories until not one more American daughter, American son, or American family loses a loved one to these fully preventable tragedies. We are often told that illegal aliens commit crimes at lower rates than American citizens. They say studies show. But when you start digging into those studies, they don't hold up under scrutiny. So let's talk about some statistics that we do know. Unlicensed drivers are estimated to have 5 times higher risk of being involved in a fatal crash. They are often involved in reckless behaviors, such as speeding and impaired driving, leading to higher rates of serious injury and fatalities. Colorado has one of the highest rates of uninsured drivers in the United States, with estimates between 17 and 20%.
God
of
damn.
all uninsured Colorado drivers, about 25% are estimated to be unlicensed illegal aliens. Do you think that a driver is magically protected from these statistics simply because they're undocumented? Here's another factual statistic. Entering the United States illegally is considered a criminal
Holy
offense
shit.
under federal law.
No,
100%
hold up.
of illegal
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. Roll it back. What? Say that again for me.
of uninsured drivers in the higher rate involved in a fatal crash. They are often involved in reckless behaviors, such as speeding and impaired driving, leading to higher rates of serious injury and fatalities. Colorado has one of the highest rates of uninsured drivers in the United States, with estimates between 17 and 20%. Of all uninsured Colorado drivers, about 25% are estimated to be unlicensed illegal aliens.
Okay, so 17 to 20% of Colorado is uninsured. Out of that 17 to 20%, 25% are illegal aliens? Holy shit.
Do you think that a driver is magically protected from these statistics simply because they're undocumented? Here's
That's
another factual
fucking
statistic.
wild.
Entering the United States illegally is considered a criminal offense under federal law. 100% of illegal aliens are criminals.
Yes, ma'am.
We often hear that enforcement should only focus on the worst of the worst. My daughter was not harmed by someone that was labeled as the worst of the worst. She was harmed by someone who shouldn't have been in a position to hurt her in the first place. I reject the idea.
I will admit this, though. On a live stream level, whoever the fuck is working this system now, making all this happen, the camera angles, what you're trying to show for these people, everything like that, whoever is doing it, you got a better producer? The sound is coming better from these things, even though, what is it, House Rules is still monotone as bullshit. But I mean, you're getting better with them.
That families must wait for tragedy before action is
I
taken.
guess my complaining worked,
You should
right?
not have to be a Carissa, or a Brady, or a Hallie, or a Joshua. Public policy should not require a threshold of victims on either side. Our children are not your collateral damage. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fox. No words. No words.
See, look at that smooth
Ms.
transition.
Hyling, you're next. Thank you.
My name is Jennifer Hyling. I'm an angel mom, and I'm from a small town in Minnesota. My son Brady Hyling and his girlfriend Hallie Helgeson were tragically killed while celebrating their 3-year anniversary at a concert in Wisconsin. We got a text that they had made it to their car and were headed home. This would be the last thing that we had ever heard from them. On July 20th of 2025, our lives came to a screeching halt.
Yeah, you're
Brady
right.
and Hallie
That
were
was in
innocently
Colorado.
driving home.
That
while an
was.
illegal immigrant that was driving the wrong way while intoxicated crashed into
Attorney
them.
Aragua take over.
She was a multiple offender, 2 times over her legal limit, and had failed to install her interlock device that would have prevented this whole incident from happening. And above all else, she's never had a driver's license to be on the road in the first place. This woman was not a hardened criminal. She was just a mom that was allowed to live in this country completely exempt from consequences for breaking our laws. Time after time, she was allowed to keep living here above the law without any attempt to change her behavior and bad decisions. The ability to seek protection and be shielded by living in a sanctuary city will continue to allow illegal immigrants to continue to take the innocent lives of Americans. If you want to seek refuge in our country and make a better life for yourself, I am in total support, but expect you to follow our laws.
OCD matter,
Our
right?
safety depends on it. Why are we allowing people to live amongst us that want to cause us harm? Why are we expected to allow them to keep offending and not be deported? Do you think this is really helping anyone seek a better life?
I'm sorry. I took a look at this picture and I saw the purple. It kind of outlines her, right? I thought for half a second, I was like, what the fuck happened to her legs? You got that different color that just bleeds in almost into the background. I'm like, what? What happened? Did her legs get cut off? Oh, it's a different color. I feel like I'm fucking dumb.
Is not. This is called being an enabler. If you are unable to live by the laws of this country, you should be removed at the very first offense. Why are we waiting for our children to be murdered? If the woman responsible for murdering our children was deported after the first time she was drinking and driving, we wouldn't be forced to be living this nightmare. To allow someone to continue to be on the road with multiple traffic violations and a history of drinking and driving, not to mention never legally obtaining a driver's license or citizenship, is absolutely recklessness. This entire tragedy was completely preventable, and not just for us, but for her too. If you think allowing...
All right. Hold up. Jonah. Jonah says, I follow 196 channels. I have not counted who is a channel like this or who are just fellow chatters. I don't care. Not why I'm here. Just odd it doesn't fluctuate, not once in a year. You already know this information. You already know, brother. Why are you here? Because you like what you hear. I mean, look at this small fucking channel, dude. You're here for a reason, right? That's what it is. That's where everybody's going. We know this information. I just don't want it to be some kind of vacuum chamber bullshit for y'all. And you got a good mixture of shit because I see you all everywhere. Now that I'm paying attention, I see you all every fucking where. So yeah, I get it. I just don't. I do the little pushback and everything too because I'm more liberal than our audience is. You shouldn't be listening to me by all accounts, right? So why are you? Because I feel the same way you do. I just look at it as a different angle. Politically on a spectrum. I can agree with you more often than I cannot right now because I can't get on board with what Democrats are pushing. I mean, if we went back to the 90s, if we went back to the 2000s era, right before, I'd put it at this. If we went back to before Occupy Wall Street, it'd be a different channel altogether. And you guys probably wouldn't be here. But right now, every single one of you make more sense than everything I fucking show you. Am I saying that I'm going to turn? No, I'm just going to give you a better perspective. You do you, brother. You vote how you vote. You believe how you believe. I'm just going to go throw you a little bit of a perspective because, hey, look, for the most part, I can understand the Democrat Party. I understand what they are. I can understand their argument. As retarded as it is in every step along the way, I get it. I just can't advocate for it because it's 100% fucking retarded. Back to the story. Oh, sorry.
Anyone to live their lives here without consequence is helping them in any way become a better person, you are mistaken. This woman will have to live the rest of her life knowing she not only murdered 2 innocent teenagers
You
full
have
of hopes,
common sense,
dreams,
Rich.
just
Plus
ready to
it's
start their
fun
lives
to watch
together.
you lose
She
your
also
shit on
destroyed her
someone's
life,
straight teeth.
our life, and our community, and our community's lives. Generations of kids and classmates left to figure out why was this allowed
Fair
to happen.
point.
It should have never happened. Try to explain to Brady's 11-year-old sister that he will never attend another one of her events to cheer her on. He'll never get to see her grow up. Explain to his 16-year-old sister he won't get to be here to protect her from the guys with bad intentions or meeting her newest farm animal edition. Tell Hallie's brother that he's now an only child, all because an illegal immigrant that was allowed to live in a sanctuary city while breaking our laws repeatedly until she finally murdered someone with her reckless, selfish ways. And please, I beg you to explain to me
that I will not get to watch my son grow into the man I was so diligently raising him to be. I will not get to see him succeed at all of his goals he has worked so hard to make come true. Then you explain to Hallie's mom, well, she'll never get to see her little girl become a mother herself. And you explain to her dad why he will never get to walk his little girl down the aisle and give her away. Please, I ask that you tell my husband that the company he spent his whole life building was for nothing. Brady will never get to work alongside of him, just so that a group of people that feel it is more important to protect those illegal immigrants, let them keep offending until they completely destroy the lives of innocent children and families is more important than our rights and safety of American citizens. It's really easy to say that we need to protect these groups when you are unaffected. It's really easy for people I don't even know to sit there and say my kids deserve better than to be part of a political agenda. If you believe this to be true, you are sadly mistaken. I don't want to be here. We don't want to be here, but we weren't given a choice. Our children were murdered. So here we are trying to prevent this nightmare from happening to anyone else. If it is to protect the loved ones of the very people attacking us. Some of my own family find it necessary to tell me this is an issue of drinking and driving, not immigration. If this particular woman would have been responsibly dealt with and deported after the first time drinking and driving, then we would not be in this position right now. My entire future has been literally stolen from me in a way that will never make sense, and it still doesn't seem real. I should be listening to Brady and Hallie tell me about college and about how they can't wait to come home for the summer. But because we continue to protect people like this and give them free reign in our communities, the innocent lives will continue to be taken. Angel families will continue to multiply. Whose kid has to die before these people will see where we are coming from? Whose family has to be destroyed before they're willing to admit, hey, we have a problem? What tragedy has to rip their lives apart before they realize that when they tell me I need to look at my situation differently, it's selfish, heartless, and cruel? If my reasoning is wrong, then I pray that you will never know how it feels to live a day in my life.
Thank you, Ms. Hyman. Mr. Romanucci.
Chairman
All right.
Andrew, Chair Jordan, Ranking Member. Chairman
Next
Andrew,
story.
Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Crockett, and Ranking Member Raskin. My name is Antonio Romanucci. I'm a national civil rights attorney, and I have the deep honor of representing the family of Renee Good. It was her tragic death in Minnesota by federal immigration agents in Minneapolis that I took on that representation. I also represent U.S. citizens whose constitutional rights were violated by federal agents in Chicago. And first, please, let me express my deepest respect to my co-panelists and mothers who have suffered unthinkable loss, tragedy, and trauma. Your family's tragedies are inexcusable, and we respect your courage. I know, as someone who represents victims of violent crime, that too often the second tragedy is that victims struggle to get the justice that they deserve. We share your concern that America needs common sense immigration reform. I have heard all of you say the same thing. But marching thousands of masked agents into communities, rounding up black and brown people, including children, terrorizing them, while creating collateral damage of death and catastrophic harm to American citizens, that's not the answer. All Americans should feel safe in their own cities, where citizens are free from unlawful harm from anyone, including agents of their own government. Harm of Americans by Americans in American cities is devastating to our republic. Those who have committed these violations of rights must be held accountable, just as all people who commit violent acts must be held accountable. Allow me to give insight into an American mother of three, Renee Good, who was killed while she was squarely being protected by the First Amendment. Here are words that her brother spoke to fellow members of Congress not long ago. Quote, "The deep distress our family feels because of Renee's loss in such a violent and unnecessary way is complicated by feelings of disbelief and desperation for change. Our family took some consolation thinking that perhaps Renee's death would bring change in our country. It has not."
You think somebody actually trying to run over an ICE agent and then get shot for the actual, let's just go ahead and say attempted fucking murder of a federal officer was going to bring about change? The attempted murder of a federal officer would bring about change. Are you fucking retarded? Wow.
These encounters with federal agents are changing many lives, including ours, forever. The most important thing we can do is help our country understand what a beautiful American we have lost. A sister, a daughter, a mother, a partner, and friend. End quote.
I'm sorry. She dropped her children off, had diapers in the backseat of the fucking vehicle because her and her fucking wife were going around doing this shit all fucking day. Her wife gets out there antagonizing the officer as he's taking video camera fucking footage from his perspective going around the fucking vehicle. She's talking shit to him the entire time. There is another agent that gets out of a fucking truck, walks up and says, "Get out of the vehicle." Her wife says, "Drive, baby, drive." The tires spin, then turn, and he gets hit. I'm sorry, does that sound like a good fucking person to you? Let alone woman. I'm not even going to go that far. Does that sound like a good person to you? You drop your kids off at school and then you go put your ass on a fucking line to do some dumb shit like that? To try to kill an officer because you felt threatened and your wife told you to drive?
The distress is also felt by Alex Preddy's family. It is felt by Marimar Martinez in Chicago, shot 5 times by a federal agent while bringing a donation to church. It is felt by elected official Juan Munoz, violently detained and used as a prop for a DHS video. It is felt by children separated from their parents and shipped to detention centers in another state, family after family and city after city. The harms by our own federal government in American cities are staggering. Needless injury and death by masked agents undermining trust in all law enforcement. Violations of freedom of speech and Fourth Amendment freedom from unlawful search and
Hey, little fag boy. Let me ask you a question. Why are they masked? What would be the point of them masking? Oh, they're not kidnapping motherfuckers off the street and they're doing it on masked thugs. No, it's little fuck asses like you who are actually targeting them, correct? I mean, CBP officers got shot in Allen, Texas. How many attacks have we seen? How many unwarranted attacks? How many times do these motherfuckers throw up and somehow concrete is just delivered on site? How many times have we seen that happen? So when you're talking about these innocent baby angels, no, I'm sorry. They're not innocent. They decided to fuck around, and they found out. And they fucked around for this bullshit ideology you got that illegals need everything while America fucking pays for it because we're supposed to be bleeding heart fucking liberals, right? Meanwhile, we can't pay for shit anymore. The economy's falling apart, and what are we doing? Giving more money to them. But fuck you and everything about you.
seizure. False statements of absolute immunity for agents and false narratives about victims. Failure to properly investigate claims of police misconduct. What is not understood is that Renee Good's family cannot pursue justice against a federal officer the same way as if a state or local officer had fired those gunshots.
Good.
This anomaly must end. Federal officers should not
How about
receive
we
special
go
pass
after
on
her
accountability,
family
and
for
there should be a
raising
bridge
such
to
a
justice
fucking
for all
moron to
victims.
do what she did?
Current law requires that you ask for permission from this federal government to file a lawsuit against it, and only allows for a trial by judge and not a jury in defiance of the 7th Amendment. Reasonable updates to Section 1983 of the Civil Rights Act or the Federal Tort Claims Act are needed to ensure access to justice and accountability for wrongdoers. I urge Congress to ensure all people have the right to a jury trial, including those hurt or killed by federal officers.
So we need to stick them behind bars for, 3 to 5 years, maybe even longer, depending on the charge. Waste your time, waste your money, and then, after all of that, then you can deport them. We need 3 to 5 years of wasting your fucking money before they can go. And that just depends on the charge. I mean, fuck, murder? We got 20 years on that, right?
In conclusion, I deeply respect the mothers who spoke their truths today. Their pain and anger are something no parent should ever experience, and it's palpable in this room. The family of Renee Good and so many other families
she already
impacted by the acts
abandoned
of
her
federal
other one
agents
with her
have
first
likewise
husband.
suffered
Yes, she
immeasurable
did.
pain and anger, and all victims are worthy of the right to seek accountability. We all want safety and peace. Criminal acts of all kinds must be addressed. Please create common sense immigration policies. Pursue accountability for the harm done by ICE with the same level of commitment that you pursue accountability for all people who commit crimes in this country, and demand full compliance to our United States Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romanucci. Ms. Wilkerson, you may begin.
Thank you for having me here today to tell you the story of my son Joshua. My husband and I raised 3 children, and Josh was the baby of our family. He was 18 years old and a senior in high school. A classmate of his asked him for a ride home, and unbeknownst to him, that classmate wanted to murder Josh so that he could scrap his truck for some money. Instead of getting Josh home that day, we got an autopsy report that explained just exactly how Josh died. There are 3 manners of death: abdomen trauma, head trauma, and strangulation. I guess I feel lucky that he was dead before he was set on fire. This creates a hole in a family like you can never imagine. It will never be repaired here. Our lives will be different. It's like a bomb was dropped in our family. And even if we could pick up the pieces, you can't put them back together, right? I'm okay with where Josh was at today. What I'm not okay with are the lies that I'm hearing as I sit here sometimes. Josh deserved to live. His brother was defending this country in the Air Force. He got to come home for 2 weeks to bury his little brother and then go back to defending this country and put his grief on a shelf. So now that he's out, he deals with things later, and it affects our family in every single way. The lies I want to talk about today are what I'm hearing from Ms. Crockett and Mr. Raskin about. I think you said there's potential terrorists roaming the streets. Those are due to sanctuary city policies. You invited the criminal element, hey, come to our city and we're going to give you sanctuary. What are you giving them sanctuary from? The law? Who else gets sanctuary from the law? Do I get it? You feel sympathy for me? I'm never going to be the same. Can I go do what I want to do and get sanctuary from the law? I can't even understand how you can say you're inviting the criminal element to come to your city, and what you're doing is putting them over the citizens, the ones that are supposed to be voting for you, although we know illegals vote in the elections. Failed policies are under Obama opening the U.S. border to any and everybody, allowing them without vetting them and shipping them off to other parts of the country so that they can vote in that area, giving them driver's license, giving them social security cards, allowing them to be citizens without being citizens, and vote for a certain party. So the lies about that what you're saying are just that, they're lies. They can protest, and as far as Ms. Good's family, walk down the street all day long with a protest sign, walk down it all day long. But you can fix it by telling them you can't get in the middle of a law enforcement investigation. I don't care how bad you think the policy is wrong. Don't get in the middle of an investigation of law enforcement. That'd be the first way not to die, if you want a simple protest. Antifa is not peaceful protesting. Those are the lies. It's lie after lie after lie after lie. None of you care about these people. You don't care about my kid. You don't care about theirs. You don't care about Ms. Good. It just suits you. It's frustrating to hear the lies after lies after lies, and it's over and over and over. I had hoped at my testimony 10 years ago I wouldn't have to meet new families like this. Boy, I was so naive. We're still talking about giving sanctuary to people that broke the law. What about the people that stood in line and did it the hard way? Wrote letters home to their home country and said, look, we made it to America. They didn't know how to speak the language. They didn't have a car. They didn't have a lot of money, but they did it the right way, and they were granted the American dream. So many of them accomplished that. What about those people you're letting in front of those people? How does that make sense in your eyes? How do you sleep at night saying you're going to give sanctuary to people who broke into this country? I don't know how you sleep at night, but what I do know is you don't care about our kids. They're collateral damage in the things that you want to happen. That's all they are. They're collateral damage. You can tell me about the sympathy, and I believe your sympathy. You don't want anybody to die. I understand that, but think about if it's your kid. You got any grandkids? You got kids? Think about your baby, the baby of your family, and think about in an hour you may have to go home, listen to your wife tell you that your son didn't come home from school today because he was beaten and tortured and set on fire by somebody that didn't need to be in this country. His parents had overstayed a visa. His father was given a social security card and a driver's license so that he could work, and he overstayed that visa, and then he brought his whole family here without a visa to come in illegally. That is what I'm mad about. If you really cared about this, you would stand up and quit calling for sanctuary city. It makes no sense, and all you're doing is trying to put people that have come into the country illegally before American citizens. And especially even about the Renee Good. I feel for their family. They have lost a family member through no fault of their own, but she chose to go there that day. She chose to aim her car at a policeman. She chose those actions that got her killed. Policemen or ICE isn't just deciding who to pick up. They're going after criminals in this country, and if you're in the middle of that and you get in the middle of it and you want to go out there and tell them they shouldn't be doing it and you're an illegal, pick you up too. Sorry. That's just the way it has to be. President Trump and Tom Homan and the Border Patrol have stopped the leak of illegal immigration in this country. It is ICE's job to clean up the dang mess. It is going to be hard. There are going to be casualties. There are going to be unhappy people and families that are hurting. I say if you are not putting your kids 6 feet under the dirt and turning around and walking away from the cemetery, you'll be all right. Stop the nonsense. Stop it. It's time to clean up the mess of what happened under the last few administrations. And I really don't care if they're unhappy. I'm so grateful they could go home and see their kid, or they can FaceTime their kid in another country, or the kid here can FaceTime. Their parents put them in that situation. Their parents brought him over, or brought them over there when they were young. I understand it's no fault of the kids, but their parents put them in that situation. You have parents in other countries that come here illegally, and then they call for some yahoo to transport their kid across the border to join them. They don't care if they get raped all along the way, because that's what happens. We know it. I know it. You know it.
Ms. Wilkerson, I could listen to you all day, and I mean it, I could. Your time has expired. I've been very lenient. You're about a minute and a half over.
Sorry.
So, no, don't be sorry. I'm sorry I have to say this, but if you could wrap it up, your entire testimony, anything else you have to say will be put in the permanent record.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. I just want you to know that the leak has been stopped. Continue to fight to clean up the mess. Stop the nonsense at sanctuary cities.
Thank you, Ms. Wilkerson. We're going to have...
Yeah. I'm sorry. I got to pause right there. Hold up. Let me
Seen
go
under
ahead.
the fire.
There we go. You know, I've always said, I want somebody to have the balls to say this to these motherfuckers. Seriously. I've wanted somebody to have the balls. That's why I didn't want to interrupt with anything or anything like that while she was going on with it. Well fucking done, ma'am. Your child died back in 2010 to this shit. And you are here with more people because of a bigger fucking reason. What a slap in the face it is to you as well. And you let them know. In a better way than I ever could. If Andrew, you're a fucking douchebag, dude. I'd let her go. You know what? It needs to be heard. Let her fucking go. She is an American goddamn citizen. Her voice needs to be heard. I don't give a fuck about your time frame, Miss Crockett. You can go fuck yourself. Let her speak.
5-minute rule with questions for those on the panel. And we.
By the way, what's with the 9 months here? Howdy. How you doing? Crockett is looking for a job. Yeah, she ain't getting shit, dude. She ain't going nowhere. We know that. Not even in the state. Not after all that. Yeah, that was 6. I really hope Republicans are motivated enough to retain the House and Senate in November. Senate, yes. House, it's within that margin of error, and it's not looking good. I mean, within that margin of error, you got to look at the prediction markets. Prediction markets are spiking for Democrats. But then again, is it a pump and dump situation? Are they reacting for some insider information, or is people just buying in because they feel like, hey, why not make some quick cash? I don't fucking know with that. Because I don't see any reason why Democrats spiking and taking the Senate needs to be a thing other than people saying, hey, I'm going to put $10 here just in case something happens, just in case they actually take it. Oh, look, it's actually trending. Well, hey, I bought it when it was at, what, 33%? My fucking profit is up. Hell yeah, let's hang on to it. When it starts to dip, get rid of it. It's a pump and dump situation. It's crypto all over again. But it's a damn good determination of what people will actually think. And a damn good determination of insider knowledge. Because if you take a look at the markets, if you take a look at these things and they spike for no fucking reason right before whatever it is confirmed. Come on, those are those people up there that know these. These are the staffers that are making money off that shit. These are the people that are behind the scenes that know these motherfuckers, how these bills are going to move. It looks bad if they get in right now, right? In a massive fucking push. So they do it right beforehand. It spikes up. It's confirmed. Transaction already done. Well, who made out? The people on the inside. And it's legal. That's the bad thing. It's fucking legal. Biggest thing to me is an ability to, like YouTube has for members, access to members' content, an incentive for membership that doesn't involve premium. Is an ability like YouTube that has for members access to members' content, an incentive for membership that doesn't involve premium. I'm going to be honest with you, though. I like the whole premium idea. I mean, literally, for $10 a month, you get access to premium content from every single creator on the platform instead of paying per channel. I mean, YouTube makes you pay per channel, right? You give $10 and whatever the fuck goes premium on Rumble, you get access to. I love that idea. I don't want to pay per channel. But yeah.
We are going to start with Mr. Schmidt from the state of Kansas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank all of our witnesses for being here.
But yeah. For those that don't know, sorry, I got to get into this. But for those that don't know, me and Davey are going to be on an actual panel for Rumble. Just talking about Rumble feedback, things like that from creators. We're going to be one of the voices for the small creators. So, yeah, I got a couple questions that I have to think about, and I'll go through them real quick. 3 positive experiences you've had on Rumble that really stood out. 3 key technical or support issues you've encountered on the platform. And 3 features or improvements you'd love to see implemented with your Rumble wish list. I've got about half of that covered already. But I mean, if you guys got something, throw it in there. Hell, the Discord. Tag me in Discord. Let me know. Tell me what you got, and we'll put it all together. Fuck, let's big brain this shit beforehand. You know what? How about this? Before tomorrow, we'll make it members only on YouTube and Rumble Premium here. And we'll talk about these. We'll talk about the things these questions, what you guys want, things like that, what you're thinking. Let's do it. Let's have that conversation tomorrow. Rumble's way kind of hurts larger creators, but I still love Rumble. It does, but I'm sure that content creation program, or the content creator program, the money they get off that shit helps a lot more, especially with every chat and everything. They take less than YouTube does. On the back end of things, I'm a small time, but yeah, Rumble does look better on the back end just for their system.
Here, and for not just taking your time, but for giving your hearts. We're grateful for your sharing your stories, because it makes it real for people who are watching and who will read this record and who understand that this is more than a policy debate. So thank you for your time. Let me start, go this direction. Ms. Wilkerson, let me start with you. I'm sorry, I didn't catch. Where's your home state?
It was Houston, Texas. I live just outside of Houston, yes.
Midterms will be very telling. They will be.
I got justice in the court of law, probably because it was in Texas. He could have gotten between 5 and 99 years. He got 99 years, and so that means he has to serve 30 years before he comes up for parole. So we have about another 15 years before I have to start fighting, letting him out, him getting out of jail. But I am grateful that he got some justice. I know so many parents don't get that.
Ms. Eiley, may I ask you the same question? What happened to the person who killed your child?
Brady and Hallie had their crash happen this past July. We have been pushed off. Things take time, we're told. This is just how it works. Be patient. Try to raise your family, try to go about your life, but be patient. So we are still living this justice you speak of.
How old was Brady?
He was 19 and Hallie was 18.
Brady looked like quite an athlete from the photos.
Brady and Hallie were both amazing athletes. Brady turned down scholarships to stay home and support Hallie in her athletics. And they were going to start college together in about 2 weeks. All of their college belongings are still in their rooms, in our basements, just like they're going to come back and we're going to send them off someday. You're right, he looked like an amazing athlete because he was. He's a very special boy to a lot of people that know him and that don't know him. He's made a huge impact.
I saw what looked like football photos. Was he a multi-sport athlete?
Brady played football mainly. He was a state track athlete. He ran relays and threw the shot put. He went 2 years in a row to the state competition, and he weight trained in between times, as you can see by the size of his biceps. He never missed a workout session. He was very self-disciplined. He was very much a rule follower. To die in the way he did, innocently trying to get home, the rule follower in him was screaming at the top of his lungs, "This woman is drunk. She's driving the wrong way. I don't have time to react. Why wasn't she home with her own family, taking care of them, sparing my child?"
Where were they going to go to college?
They were going to go over to South Dakota to Lake Area Tech. He was planning on opening a diesel mechanic shop at our house. We just finished building. Him and his dad had spent the whole summer. They own semis and excavating equipment. They do a lot of dirt work and truck hauling, and he was going to open that shop to be able to service all of those trucks. Like I said, he was very independently driven, had lots of goals. He had a plan for him and Hallie. It was a little different than what he was anticipating.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Ms. Fox, what happened to the person who hit your daughter?
I contacted the voice line victims of immigration crime engagement back in January after our 7th arraignment. She took the plea pleading guilty to classified felony conspiracy to flee the scene of an accident with severe bodily injury. So I filed a report with Voice, and we received news that she has since been deported. February 28th, it was confirmed that she is back in Venezuela.
So each of the three of you had interaction with the criminal justice system after the crimes that injured or killed your children. Since this all happened to each of the three mothers, just quickly, has anybody who engaged in the policies that let those people stay in this country illegally beforehand, has anybody contacted you and expressed sympathy or apologized to you?
No, we've heard from one politician from our local area expressing his sincere condolences, but we've heard nothing about anything that was done wrong in justice as much as Ms. Renee Good has received.
That's because they don't give a fuck about you. It's all a game to them. They get to fuck with your life, ladies and gentlemen.
Several Republicans expressed their sympathy, but most of the others just wanted to look away and not, they're not emotionally strong enough to look at it, let alone live through it. But they're not going to change a policy. That's why I fully believe that our kids are just collateral damage.
Thank you. My time's expired, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say we are very sorry.
I can't disagree with the woman.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. I recognize the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Hank Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm so sorry for what has happened to your children. I cannot imagine what you've gone through, and no parent should have to go through what you have gone through. All victims of violent crime deserve justice, but this hearing is not about justice. It's entitled The Human Toll of Sanctuary Policies, Stories from Victims and Families. We could very well have done a hearing on the human toll of the Trump MAGA tax cuts on 17 million Americans who got their health care access and food security ripped out from under them so that the wealthiest billionaires in this country could get another tax cut. Or we could have entitled this hearing or had a hearing on the human toll of Trump's stupid war with Iran and how it's making life increasingly unaffordable for people here in America, except for the wealthiest Americans. They can pay whatever the price is. We could have had a hearing on the human toll of Trump's desperate cover-up of the Epstein files, the toll that has played on the victims of that international child sex abuse ring. But no, we are here today, and not to cast any aspersions on any of you for testifying, but this is a Steve Miller-approved hearing whose sole aim is to stir up passion and bias and prejudice against immigrants who are people of color. Now, I mean, we have had mass murder after mass murder in this country perpetrated by all kinds of people. But I just want to talk about those that have been perpetrated by white males. Robert Card opened fire at a bowling alley in Lewistown, Maine. Kendron.
Hey, Davey. I know you're not here to hear this, but I have the same problem now that you do. I need a powered USB hub to deliver extra power.
White supremacists killed 10 people in a racist attack at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York. Randy Stair, a 32-year-old suspected of killing a family of 4 in Romeoville, Illinois. Richard Dale Crum, a 52-year-old man in Arca-Butler, Mississippi, who shot and killed 6 people, including his ex-wife and stepfather. 38-year-old Courtney Gordon, who stabbed 4 relatives, including 2 children, to death in New York City. And I could go on in terms of tragedies and victims of tragedy who could be brought here to talk about this MAGA Republican failure to do anything about gun control. So this is, even the fact that Mr. Romanucci, you are seated number 3 instead of number 4. I mean, normally the 3 Republican witnesses would be seated together, not sandwiching the Democratic witness in between you, but you got sandwiched today for the dramatic effect of it. It's all politics, and it's unfortunate what my friends here on the other side of the aisle are perpetrating. Mr. Romanucci, the killing of Miss Good was not was by rogue ICE officers, federal agents who can't even be sued for the damage that they have done to your client's loved ones. That's wrong. That's why I've introduced the Bivens Act, which would allow people to bring federal officials into court and sue them against these egregious actions. There are many. Certainly, they equate. I'm not minimizing the tragedy that is before us today with you 3 women, but the other tragedies at the hands of non-immigrants, just as important. My Bivens Act would ensure that all victims and their loved ones can get justice, even if the perpetrator is a government official. And that's why I've also introduced the Constitutional Accountability Act which would establish that federal, state, and local governments have the same respondent superior liability that private employers have for their employees. So there's much we can do to bring justice to those who have been aggrieved by tragedy. Congress, this MAGA Republican Congress, is incapable and unwilling to do anything in that regard, and that's unfortunate. I'm going to be the one who yields back after going only 11 minutes over. Thank you.
I was just going to let it roll. It just let you hear it. And I'm going to counter with this. Has Guam tipped over? No? Then why the fuck are you here?
Now you're back.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Yes, that was 11 seconds over. Not 11 minutes, I would have been tapping the gavel. With that, Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have some unanimous consent requests.
Without objection?
Hold the fuck up. No, this motherfucker actually said that too. I was just waiting for him to stop speaking so I could make that joke. What? He thought he was 11 minutes over?
Republican Congress is incapable and unwilling to do anything in that regard, and that's unfortunate. I'm going to be the one who yields back after going only 11 minutes over. Thank you. Now you're back.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Yes, that was 11 seconds over. Not 11 minutes, I would have been tapping the gavel.
I'm deciding on whether I should clip that or not and then play the Guam thing right after it. No, you know what? Let me get a recording of it at least. Hold on. I'm sorry. We have to fucking do it. Let me go back. I'm going to actually... I need max... Well, no, I can deal with the volume inside there. That's fine. We can keep it. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me record. I'm hitting the record. Nope.
Is incapable and unwilling to do anything in that regard, and that's unfortunate. I'm going to be the one who yields back after going only 11 minutes over. Thank you. Now you're back.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Yes, that was 11 seconds over. Not 11 minutes, I would have been tapping the gavel. With that, Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have some unanimous consent requests.
Without objection?
I would ask unanimous consent to include in the record an article titled ICE asks Governor
I'm going to do it.
Chicago
The Guam
sanctuary
clip right after that.
illegal alien accused of killing 18-year-old Loyola College student.
And then,
also an article titled Authorized Sanctuary Policies Release Criminal Illegal Aliens from Jails Back into Minneapolis Streets to Terrorize More Innocent Americans.
Without objection.
And so too unanimous consent to include in the record an article titled Illinois Father Says Pritzker Shows, quote, indifference, unquote, to his daughter being killed by a illegal immigrant.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr.
And Mr. Chair, I have a UC.
Without objection.
This is from the Texas Tribune. It is from March 29th, actually my birthday, 2010. Houston, no sanctuary. Anise Parker, who was the mayor at the time.
Ooh, can I respond to that?
Thank you. You know what? Mr. Gill is going to speak next, and he is going to yield some of his time to you.
Thank
you. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
With that, I recognize Mr. Gill.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing, and thank you to the witnesses for coming here and telling us your stories and your family's stories.
What you got, Gil?
Before we get into that, I think it's worth saying that was one of the most disgusting testimonies I've ever heard. To have Hank come in here and lecture angel families about how they shouldn't be here, how we shouldn't be holding this hearing. What the hell is wrong with you guys? The reason they're here is because of open borders that you guys perpetrated for 4 years. And to come in here and to turn this into a MAGA Republican idiotic low IQ lecture is sickening. To whine about which seats they're in.
God damn it, go!
It's disgusting.
Take the fucking gloves off.
That said, I'd like to give you guys a chance to respond to some of the things that you've heard, and I'll start with you, Ms. Wilkerson.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that it was a spoken policy of Houston to be a sanctuary. It wasn't written at that point, and so the suburbs around Houston followed that same policy. And East Parker's kind of laughable to me. This hearing could also be about why we're not, or people aren't voting. You know, there's a slush fund for people up here in these places that have committed crimes, or people have said, oh, you've raped and stuff. But, you know, this hearing could have been about that too, but it's not. It's about our kids that we lost and about the very fact that Sanctuary City Policies is creating a haven for people that came to this country illegally. Thank you.
You can put me in whatever order, in whatever seat. My tragedy is never going to be okay. I will be last, I will be first, I will be 42nd seat. That's what you want. But we're so used to hearing everyone tell us, but we're sorry, please, here are condolences, but this hearing should be about this. This hearing should be about me, but it's not. Today's our day. Hear us. Leave your butts in your seat. I don't want to hear your butts. Our tragedies are disgusting. I still wait for my children to come home. It's not real to me.
Yes.
My 11-year-old, my 16-year-old, they're waiting for their car to come home with Brady and Hallie in it because guess what? It's evidence. We can't have that back yet. My garage stall is empty. So the girls say, Mom, we still think they're gonna come home and tell us all about the concert and celebrating their anniversary because the car's not here. They'll come home, won't they? We can't pick a headstone because that makes it too real. But you can sit here and tell us about what kind of hearing this should be. Renee Good is not the same as Angel Family. She made a choice. She left her home that day, made the choice. Brady and Hallie didn't get a choice. Carissa didn't get a choice. Joshua didn't get a choice. They're living American laws, the American dream. They're trying to make this place better, and they were stolen by somebody who doesn't care. But give me all your butts. I'm used to it.
I don't know if anybody has noticed, but I am not white. I wake up brown every day. I'm not sure what race has to do with any of this. There's 4 kids that we talked about today, and y'all can't seem to stay on topic for what, an hour of your time? You got to bring up what about? No, we're talking about these 4 kids. We're talking about Angel families. Stay on topic. I don't want to talk about Epstein right now. That's another hearing. I don't want to talk about ICE detainees. That's another hearing. Right now, today, we're talking about sanctuary policies and how.
Or we can sit here and talk about how you commit treason against the American people every goddamn day. You sit there and try to, I don't know, give aid and comfort to those who have killed our children.
They have wrecked our families. Y'all come and y'all feed Carissa. You get her up from her bed using a crane. And then you tell me and lecture me what this hearing should be about.
Ms. Wilkerson, we have a little bit more time. Would you like to have the floor to respond to anything else you've heard today?
Finally, it's fucking set. Finally, it's fucking set. However, it fell on deaf goddamn ears. Because there wasn't a single motherfucker in that room. But you know how quiet it got, right? You saw it, that awkward fucking silence, and everybody's like, fuck. But it still fell on deaf ears because both sides refused to show the fuck up. As a matter of fact, there wasn't enough for even a quorum for this. There were more Democrats than there were Republicans. It fell on deaf goddamn ears. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to give it to you guys. And there's the link in the Rumble. There's the link in the YouTube. To take that fucking moment and spread it everywhere. As a matter of fact, go ahead and do the screen record thing. Hold on. Let me roll it back for you. I'm going to bring it back full fucking screen from the moment Gil walks up. Or from the moment it is Gil's point. Fucking hell. We're doing this. All right. You ready? Get it ready. Here we go.
Thank you to the witnesses for coming here and telling us your stories and your family's stories. Before we get into that, I think it's worth saying that was one of the most disgusting testimonies I have ever heard. To have Hank come in here and lecture Angel families about how they shouldn't be here, how we shouldn't be holding this hearing. What the hell is wrong with you guys? The reason they're here is because of open borders that you guys perpetrated for 4 years. And to come in here and to turn this into a MAGA Republican idiotic low IQ lecture is sickening. To whine about which seats they're in, it's disgusting. That said, I'd like to give you guys a chance to respond to some of the things that you've heard, and I'll start with you, Ms. Wilkerson.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that it was a spoken policy of Houston to be a sanctuary. It wasn't written at that point, and so the suburbs around Houston followed that same policy. And these Parker's kind of laughable to me. This hearing could also be about why we're not, or people aren't voting. You know, there's a slush fund for people up here in these places that have committed crimes, or people have said, oh, you've raped and stuff. But, you know, this hearing could have been about that too, but it's not. It's about our kids that we lost and about the very fact that sanctuary city policies is creating a haven for people that came to this country illegally. Thank you.
You can put me in whatever order, in whatever seat. My tragedy is never going to be okay. I will be last, I will be first, I will be 42nd seat. That's what you want. But we're so used to hearing everyone tell us, but we're sorry, please, here are condolences, but this hearing should be about this. This hearing should be about me, but it's not. Today's our day. Hear us. Leave your butts in your seat. I don't want to hear your butts. Our tragedies are disgusting. I still wait for my children to come home. It's not real to me. My 11-year-old, my 16-year-old, they're waiting for their car to come home with Brady and Hallie in it because guess what? It's evidence. We can't have that back yet. My garage stall is empty. So the girls say, Mom, we still think they're gonna come home and tell us all about the concert and celebrating their anniversary because the car's not here. They'll come home, won't they? We can't pick a headstone because that makes it too real. But you can sit here and tell us about what kind of hearing this should be. Renee Good is not the same as Angel family. She made a choice. She left her home that day, made the choice. Brady and Hallie didn't get a choice. Carissa didn't get a choice. Joshua didn't get a choice. They are living American laws, the American dream. They're trying to make this place better, and they were stolen by somebody who doesn't care. But give me all your butts. I'm used to it.
I don't know if anybody has noticed, but I am not white. I wake up brown every day. I'm not sure what race has to do with any of this. There's 4 kids that we talked about today, and y'all can't seem to stay on topic for what, an hour of your time? You gotta bring up what about? No, we're talking about these 4 kids. We're talking about Angel families. Stay on topic. I don't wanna talk about Epstein right now, that's another hearing. I don't wanna talk about ICE detainees, that's another hearing. Right now, today, we're talking about sanctuary policies and how they have wrecked our families. Y'all come and y'all feed Carissa. You get her up from her bed using a crane. And then you tell me and lecture me what this hearing should be about.
Ms. Wilkerson, we have a little bit more time. Would you like to have the floor to respond to anything else you've heard today?
I just have to agree with them both. You know, this hearing could be about anything, and I appreciate that they want to get some things on record, but it's not what it's about today. It's about American citizens who parents try to do the right thing. You know, I stayed at home mom because I wanted to give Josh my values, my kids my values, and teach them right from wrong, take them to church. And you get almost through to that point, and then somebody that shouldn't even have been here just steals their life right out from under you. You'll never understand the pain. I pray that you don't understand the pain. And it's about giving a group of people sanctuary from the law. Nobody gets sanctuary from the law. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's hard to believe we're sitting here begging you to obey the laws that y'all made. I mean, there are laws in the books. If we just start with that, we'd be better off if we just start enforcing those. But nobody gets sanctuary from the law. You know how to stay, you know how to not get killed by the police. Don't get involved in something they're doing. It's pretty much common sense, but I want it to remain about the kids, American citizens that have been lost. And I think this gentleman over here, Mr. Johnson, said that you could fill this room, you could fill stadiums. They don't keep statistics, they don't want statistics, they don't want you to know how many people have been
Ms.
killed.
Wilkerson, I'm sorry. I get to be the bad guy today. I don't mean to be. I really could listen to all of you all day. I'm trying as chairman to get it under control and let everybody on both
Thank you, no
sides
problem,
go over
I can
quite a
talk
bit.
for.
I know. And I thank you for that. Does the gentleman yield back?
Yep, yield back.
Thank you, I thank the gentleman. With that, I recognize the ranking member, Jasmine Crockett.
Thank you so much. And I hear your rage. And I don't have children and literally have never lost a child, nor.
Before we go into this one, if that's not the biggest fucking slap in the face to every fucking single one of you. There were more Dems than Republicans this entire time. Look, I'm sorry. Even Quagmire's daughter looks sorry that she's even in that goddamn room right now. The other woman stopped looking forward, and she's been looking down at her phone most of this goddamn hearing. That is your fucking taxpayer dollars at work. You elect them to rule over you, and when things don't go right, why the fuck should they even care? I mean, let's be honest. Every single Democrat in this fucking hearing. And Gil ignored no, where was it? Did anybody but the head chairs stay the entire hearing? No. Take that back. Take that back, yes. Yes, there was. And this dude right here. He has been here the entire time. He was the first to speak after Crockett. He was there. And there is that. I can say that, yes. But it is a big spit in the face. The only Republicans that were talking were Van Drew. This guy, I don't know who the fuck he is, and praise you for actually being there. Maybe I should learn who the fuck you are. And Mr. Gill. Meanwhile, you had Crockett, you had Raskin, and you had Johnson. And every single one of them screamed, "Orange man bad," oh, fuck your family. That was this entire fucking hearing. This is why I wanted to bring this shit up. These are the people that have died because these motherfuckers keep pushing. And they couldn't even hear it. They didn't want to hear it. That is your taxpayer dollars at work, ladies and gentlemen. The moment I fucking wanted were somebody, one person, at least one person on the panel, and 3 motherfuckers gave them both damn barrels in the most respectful way possible, and it fell on deaf ears. If that's not the biggest goddamn kick in the nuts for every single American citizen, I don't know what is.
Get into that. I think it's worth saying that was one of the most disgusting testimonies I have ever heard. To have Hank come in here and lecture angel families about how they should.
All right, let's not go through that again. Let's go back to Crockett. This bitch is just about to embarrass herself. Holy shit, at the very end, you just couldn't stop. You just couldn't hold off. You just couldn't stop running your motherfucking cock holster, right?
Crockett.
Thank you so much. And I hear your rage. And I don't have children and literally have never lost a child, nor had one injured to actually, really be in your shoes. But one thing that I can tell you about the redirection is because so often what we see happen is politicians play games. The reality is that if you were talking about a sanctuary city, then we're talking about city government. We're talking about local control, something that the Republicans used to espouse that they believed in. They used to believe in whoever lives in that city, you elect who is going to run that city. And that city, whether it's the police department, which is the police department and law enforcement, that make the decisions about what they do. We don't.
Hey. Calm the fuck out, spastastic fucking retard. You're right. But when I heard that, you're right. But when sanctuary policies try to conflict with federal law, you're going to have problems that occur, especially when federal agents are tasked to move into an area and sanctuary policy says federal law enforcement, local law enforcement cannot help the feds in any way. So you create an instance where a mob of motherfuckers that are easily riled the fuck up to do whatever the fuck you want them to do. I mean, shit. All you got to do is throw them a fucking rock. When that happens, we have incidences like Renee Good. We have incidences like Alex Preddy. So if you actually played game with federal fucking law, we wouldn't have this fucking problem now, would we, you stupid dumb cunt? Holy fucking shit. You're going to sit here and tell me it's states rule. The states rule on this shit. The federal fucking government has fucking control over immigration. And you want to talk about states? Goddamn. You want to talk about states' rights over immigration? There is none. Immigration is federal, bitch. That is our borders. States have absolutely nothing to fucking do with it. The sanctuary policies are abhorrent to the Constitution. I'm sorry, repugnant to the Constitution, and therefore straight up unconstitutional. Sorry, federal government has full control over immigration. Not your fucking cities, you stupid cunt.
Pick the police chief for any given city, not on the federal level. That comes from the city level. That comes from whoever the people of that city actually elect to represent them. I believe in local control. Same thing, I live in Texas too. And baby, I wish I didn't have to deal with Governor Greg Abbott, but local control dictates that he is the governor of our state. And therefore, we have state reps, we have state senators, and we have a governor, and we have county elected officials and city elected officials.
That also has to answer to the goddamn federal governments. Federal law supersedes state law in every goddamn jurisdiction, but for some reason, for right here, you're going to sit here and tell me that states, their cities and everything, their laws must supersede federal fucking law about immigration. I swear to fucking God, this is why you lost your job.
Sitting in Washington, D.C. right now. We are on the federal level. So what I believe in is something that the Republicans used to scream.
Oh, we're going to do it more often.
So when we're having
we got Mondays and maybe Tuesdays to do them too.
About the human toll, the title specifically is the human toll of sanctuary policies, stories from victims and families. My deal is, we aren't the ones that decide what cities do. So what they've decided to do is they've decided to play on your pain. And that is why I am frustrated. Because hear me when I say this. I have seen people, whether it was an American citizen or not, that killed your child or harmed your child, I believe it's wrong. To me, it wouldn't have made it any less painful. And I could be wrong again because I don't have any kids. But if for some reason it had been a U.S. citizen that ended up harming or killing your child, the pain would still be there. It would still hurt. So the reality is that what we need to do is make sure we are protecting everybody in this country. I don't wake up and somehow people look and see that there's a D somewhere around my head or something, and so therefore I am going to somehow be precluded from harm becoming me.
You heard that right. You heard that right. Ladies and fucking gentlemen, this dumb bitch just topped the top of the fucking list of the dumbest things. I mean, I'm not going to say topped it. The Guam comment, yes. Let me give you the runner-up goddamn position for that.
It was an American citizen. I am frustrated. Because hear me when I say this. I have seen people, whether it was an American citizen or not, that killed your child or harmed your child, I believe it's wrong. To me, it wouldn't have made it any less painful. And I could be wrong again because I don't have any kids. But if for some reason it had been a U.S. citizen that ended up harming or killing your child, the pain would still be there. It would still hurt. So the reality is that what we need to do is make sure we are protecting everybody in this country. I don't wake up and somehow people look and see that there's a D somewhere around my head or something, and so therefore I am going to somehow be precluded from harm becoming me. When I go out to do policy work, and I've worked on the state level too, the policies that I was writing when I was on the state level are different from the federal level because we have different levels of control. The one thing that we do have control of, you may have recognized that the DHS secretary, as we're talking about immigration, she had to come before this committee. I want to say maybe a day or two after she came before our committee because we have jurisdiction over her. We don't have jurisdiction over your mayors. We have jurisdiction over her. She lost her job. The DHS secretary is gone. Now, to be clear about this, the Republican president is the one that put her out of her job because she was failing. So the reason that my colleagues have brought these things up, and this isn't to say that the harm and the hurt that you are feeling, that you should not be feeling that. It is wrong. Again, even as a criminal defense attorney, I can't tell you how many times I was begging clients to enter pleas. In fact, it literally made me remember a case that I had with a guy who was a veteran. He had served this country. He ended up being put on some new medication, and he also ended up drinking with that medication. Now, the medication had a warning on the bottle. But he went out, he drove, and he killed someone's mother. That client told me he had no criminal history. He told me over and over and over, he said, just give me whatever they're gonna give me. They offered him the max, which was 20 years, and I could not in good conscience, knowing that a jury would not give him the max. The only reason we went to trial is because the prosecutor wanted to be so greedy. That jury did not give him 20. He was willing to take 15 years. I am here to tell you that it is never right to break any of our laws. So the reason that we have gone down the line and the reason that we brought Mr. Romanucci is because we actually have control over CBP and DHS. It's just, and ICE. It's just that these guys don't want to exacerbate, use that control. They sit there and they allow U.S. citizens and non-U.S. citizens to have their rights violated, and that is something within our purview. If I lived in one of your cities, in fact, I am in Dallas. Dallas has a Republican mayor. To be a sanctuary city doesn't necessarily mean that you provide sanctuary. It means that you're not going to do the federal government's job. That's what it means. They are local law enforcement. And what it means is that they are not going to sit there and do the job of federal agents. That is what a sanctuary city means. But to be clear, again, and I have more articles, The city of Houston was not, when you talk about someone being a sanctuary city, it is an official policy that they are following. It can't be that it's one person. It's the official policy of the city. Otherwise, it doesn't work if it's just one person. I will yield. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your.
You stupid bitch. You retarded fucking cum dumpster. You were the exact reason why mankind should be obliterated. You mean to fucking tell me that somebody that comes to this country and is here illegally shouldn't be here in the first place, should not hurt worse than an American citizen killing your child? One of them was 100% fucking preventable, you stupid bitch. Prove me wrong. If illegals weren't in this country, those people sitting at that goddamn table wouldn't have dead children. But somehow, because one was 100% preventable, it shouldn't hurt anymore. Holy fuck. Now, this is coming from a woman who spent her entire career saying she got her job just because she's fucking black. I need to hold the House Judiciary, the entire committee, because I have the biggest social media following, because I dance around the halls of Congress with my tongue hanging out. I need to have all the fucking power because I'm a black woman that doesn't do shit except take back shots from my fucking bodyguard, who's a felon, wanted felon and felon at the same goddamn time, trying to play like he's a police officer to push his fucking will around, gets chased the fuck down into a fucking parking lot at a children's hospital, and then decides that he's going to have a shootout with the police because there ain't no goddamn way in fuck that motherfucker would have passed any background check to be a federal fucking bodyguard if you weren't getting dicked down every fucking way to Sunday. And you expect to go anywhere after this shit? Oh. We're almost done. We're almost done.
Indulgence.
Sure. Yes, gentleman is recognized.
Thank God she won't be back next Congress, but I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to
Yes.
enter the record. A few different things. First of all,
Shut your goddamn mouth, cunt whore.
internal bleeding to torso, DHS said.
Without objection.
Next, DHS reaches more than 4,000 arrests of illegal aliens, including murderers, sex offenders, gang members, and terrorists in Minnesota since Operation Metro Surge began.
Without objection.
Another update, DHS deploys special operations after multiple violent attacks on federal law enforcement by domestic terrorists in Chicago.
Without objection. I recognize myself for 5 minutes. I want to thank you all for being here, even you, Mr. Romanucci. Thank you.
Thank you.
A bag drop.
I know it's hard to believe. I don't have the words. I don't have the words.
Before we finish this off, Jonah, he said, to be honest, that backdrop was the first reason I ever watched this. I love the colors in the font. I'm not going to lie, man. The original image for that was created by AI. When it first started to hit the market, when me and Ashley were devising the channel and everything, that was one of the images I had shown. It was a TV. Muffin has it. We have the little stickers and everything for it too. It was a TV with that image. And it was an image that I had said, I had prompted with it about hypnotizing, the TV hypnotizing people. That was one of those images. It was something that everybody could understand. And then we just threw off label in the middle. That's how that was fucking born.
It's hard to believe that there
And
are
it
people in
evolved from
politics who
there.
give a damn. I swear to God, there are. And I'm not commenting. I'm not going to comment on the other side. I'm not going to talk about Republicans and Democrats. I'm not going to talk about Epstein. I'm not going to talk about all the politics that's swirling around. Because so much of it, a lot of times, is BS. And you know that because you've lived it. So you've had to sit in hearings and talk to
The
reporters
ruthless
and
though?
talk to politicians and hear all this crap. And I wish you could, I can speak for me, and I know there's other
We're going to
members
have
sitting
to
up here.
change things up
If you
all
could
the
feel
time
our
on
hearts,
this
I
channel,
swear to
Paula.
God, I know I said in the beginning it's not enough. I only can say I'm sorry. I just, you guys did a good job. You did a good job. And this isn't alligator tears or any BS. I admire you for what you've done. It's a big deal. And it's as hard on you because you have somebody that's so incapacitated, and you're there every day. And thank you for what you do because your love is so great. And I think the three of you have so much faith. That's the one thing I got out of this, and thank you for that as well. You know, we talked today about, and I respect the ranking member, but local government. Yeah, it's local governments that are doing this. It's states and it's cities, but they're breaking the law. They're breaking federal law. Mrs. Wilkers, you all said it. And frankly, we've had legislation that's come before us that we have voted for, but it's not going to make it all the way through. Not enough people voted for it, that those cities, those towns, those counties, those states don't get their funding. And you want to see politicians run? Man, you take away the money that they get, they're going to run. You can't, yes, there are states' rights, and I believe in the individuality of states' rights and how our Constitution was set up. It doesn't allow you to break federal law, number one. Number two, we had wide open borders. Man, we just did. I'm not here to, this isn't a political debate. Nobody's going to vote for or against me on anything in this room today. But we did, and we let really bad people in. And somebody, you know, one of our members said, well, tragedies happen, and it could have been an American citizen who did that. Yeah, and we couldn't help that. Because they're an American citizen, there was no, how do we know? You don't know when you wake up in the morning what somebody's going to do to you or to your family or children, whatever. But this was preventable. That's the word here. So you broke the law, they broke the law, and it was preventable. It didn't have to be that way, and we've talked about it for years. I love immigrants. I love legal immigrants. I love so many of us. Our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents came here. They busted their ass to make a living and to do the right thing and to be responsible. They were good people. That's not what we're talking about here. And you know what? An aspect of all this that we didn't even mention is how much this cost us. Now, who cares about the money when you think of human life? But even beyond that, some of these people, we have to transport them, we have to feed them, we have to house them, we have to educate them. It's nothing against immigrants, and it's not trying to hurt anybody, but they broke the law. And some of them are god-awful. Those statistics that Mr. Gillette, everybody's read today, they're real. It's not 3 or 4. It's thousands and millions were let into our country. No country has ever prevailed in all of world history when it just bleeds open like that. So this hearing, more importantly than the politics, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, I just wanted people to hear, and I wish every American, I swear to God, they didn't have to hear us, but I wish they could just hear you. That's why your job is so hard. Because you know what? Let me tell truth be told. Yeah, we'll do some news hits. Maybe, you know, Mr. Schmidt will get interviewed, or I'll get interviewed, or Jasmine will get interviewed. But a lot of people aren't going to know what happened here today. They're not. But you have to keep pushing, and you have to keep working. And I want you to know, and I mean this, forget the BS politics. A lot of people love you for what you've done and the courage you've shown. You didn't have to do it. This is a pain coming here, and you relive that pain every single time you do it, and you don't know who's telling you the truth and who's BSing you. But there are people who care. And I pray to God that someday this works out and we don't keep doing this. So I thank you for that. I had a bunch of questions. I don't even have the time.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized for 30 seconds?
Yes, you may.
Thank you so much. First of all, whether it was by intentional or by happenstance, I embrace the position where I'm sitting. I hug moms like you all the time. And I do feel your pain. I'm fine with where I sit in my position. Chairman, you are powerful. When you asked us to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, we all followed you. And the last words that we said were liberty and justice for all. And I'm an advocate, and that's what I believe in. And I'm asking this Congress, this committee, to find a common sense approach to immigration so that we don't have to do this again. You don't have to come back here in a year or 10 years ever. Thank you.
30 seconds for me just to answer.
I'm just going to say you can go fuck yourself. Straight up go fuck yourself. You just said every single fucking thing that happens in this committee needs to fucking happen. And then, oh, I'm an advocate for you, and I'm sorry this happened for you. But yeah, it needs to happen. Dude, just straight up go fuck yourself. But, ladies and gentlemen, I will say this. The story of Jeff Andrew aside. Wait. The story of Jeff Andrew aside. Yes, in 2022. No, I'm sorry. Wasn't it 2020? No, it was 2022. Jeff Andrew used a man named what was his name now? Oh, Craig Calloway. And Jeff Andrew, or in 2022, Jeff Andrew used a man named Craig Calloway for his campaign. He was elected. Craig Calloway was then hit up with federal charges of voter fraud. It turned out what this man was doing, he's been doing it for a while. Atlantic City Councilman Craig Calloway. Look it up. What this motherfucker would do is he'd pay people to bring them ballots with just a signature, not filled out. Bring them ballots with just a signature. Him and his team would fill out the ballots, and then he would pay other people to go stuff the mail-in ballots and the mail or the drop boxes and everything for ballots. To go stuff the fuck out of them. I'm sorry, that brings credence to 2,000 Mules, does it not? I mean, it's a standalone story, but there's some evidence for its existence. This is documented. The only thing you won't find well documented in news stories about Craig Calloway is his involvement in 2020. And you wonder why? The only place you'll find that is the documents in his fucking case. Jeff Van Drew used the man who committed voter fraud to get elected. Come on, with a win rate of roughly around 93%. How the fuck do you not know that's illegal? However, for somebody who's been so moderate, somebody who actually fucking cares, and your voting record has gone Republican, and it makes sense for the most part, I still don't feel comfortable looking past that point. But that is the story of Jeff Van Drew and Craig Calloway. One more point I want to make.
I probably broke, by the way, they're not laws. I probably broke all kinds of rules today, just so you know, and I don't care, you know?
When Ms. Crockett said she doesn't have children, so she doesn't know. I mean, we're not wired to process the type of tragedy that we're living. We're not. There are no words. I will tell you, it does feel different when an illegal immigrant kills your children than it does an American, because it was preventable. It feels different. Not that I know that because I have had an American kill a child, but when something's preventable and your life is ruined from something that's preventable, it does hit a little different than what I would imagine it would feel like just a regular casualty. Loss in itself is so difficult. There's no words. Loss is loss. It is very tragic. What we're dealing with,
especially
when it's preventable,
when you
when these
created
people have
that
done
life,
something and they weren't asked to leave.
is
If
something
I were to
you
go to
know nothing
Honduras,
about.
where the woman who killed our children is from, and I would kill 2 teenagers there, I'm not getting any rights from the Hondurans. They're not giving me rights. It's different. This is preventable. So I think it does hit a little different when our tragedy is preventable.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In addition to our witnesses today, we have others who wish to be sure the committee and the record know their stories. They were unable to testify, so I have some unanimous consent requests to enter
Without objection.
the record. I'd like to enter into the record a statement
Mr.
from Zoe Hiling,
Schmidt.
sister of Brady Hiling. I'd like to enter into the record.
Mr. Schmidt, other than the ranking member and the chairman, Mr. Schmidt is the only motherfucker that stayed the entire time. I mean, Jordan showed up at the beginning. Where the fuck was he? Out of this entire thing, Mr. Schmidt is the only one that had the respect to be there for the entire thing. This is how much they give a fuck about you. When they play their little chess moves and they play their games to have Democrat or Republican control of all this, this is how much they actually give a fuck about you.
Statement from Corey Hiling, the sister of Brady Hiling.
Without objection.
I'd like to enter into the record a statement from John and Deborah Hosuk, I believe, the grandparents. Of
Without
Brady
objection.
Hiling. I'd also like to enter into the record a statement from Agnes Gaboni, an angel mom.
Without objection.
And a statement from Joe Abraham, an angel parent.
Without objection.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. It concludes today's... Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, one more UC. This is from the Houston Chronicle. Houston is not a sanctuary city by the definition. This is from June 30th of 2006.
So this motherfucker enters into the record the testimony of everybody who is a few people who have lost children to this shit. And her answer is, Houston's not technically a sanctuary city. And this was given by this bitch. I guarantee goddamn to you. The woman in the olive fucking suit behind her, it was given by that bitch. Why? Because Quagmire's daughter over here, the only thing she has done is to look down at her phone right now. This bitch has been caught in a deer in a headlights fucking moment every time I have seen her. And I'm going to bring it full screen for y'all here, so you know who I'm talking about. This bitch, Quagmire's daughter, was stone-faced the entire damn time. Now she's looking at her phone for this kind of shit. No, that came from her. Why? As she is reporting this woman is looking at the crowd like, go fuck yourself. Houston's not a sanctuary city, so go fuck yourself. This is offensive as ever loving fuck.
And more specifically, just if you'll indulge me for 2 seconds to actually read something that's actually a part of the article. It says that Houston police are required to check the warrant status of everyone who is ticketed, arrested, or jailed if they fail.
I don't think it's in order for you to be reading articles here.
We're gonna give her a little. It's almost done. Go ahead. Just go. Don't argue. Just finish.
Yeah, because you know I'm ready to. Okay. And ICE officials are given full access to city jails.
Yeah, because you know I'm just going to do it any goddamn way.
Okay, that concludes today's hearing. We thank our witnesses for appearing before the committee today. Without objection, all members do have 5 legislative days to submit additional written questions for the.
Who's getting the fuck up out of there right now? Couldn't even give the respect to end the committee completely before she got up and walked the fuck away. The ranking goddamn member in this committee couldn't even listen to the official final fucking words before she got up and walked out.
Witnesses or additional materials for the record. Without objection, this hearing is adjourned.
How is this not offensive? Look at those empty seats. There were more staffers than there were representatives. This entire damn thing. Look at those empty seats. That should have been your first priority. You were hearing from American goddamn citizens. But no, you had to go to other committees. You wanted to hear from the experts. You wanted to hear from other shit instead of the regular, everyday Americans. You know, your constituents. The ones you were held responsible to. It was more important for you to do other things than to hear from the people who have lost children because of what you have done. You wonder why the midterms are so up in air right now, especially for the House. You wonder why it's so up in air right now, especially for the House. Listen the fuck up, Republicans. This just sends shockwaves through your shit, and you don't even fucking know it. You couldn't even pay attention to your own fucking constituents, the ones you were so fighting so hard for. Why? What else happened other than this committee? Where you had 3 American citizens telling you their shit. And one supposed fucking lawyer from the Democrat side saying they need to suffer because illegals need to be here. And you still couldn't show up for that shit. Mr. Smith did. He was there the entire time. Jordan bounced. Gil wasn't there the whole time. Hell, Gil did hear a good bit of it, I will admit that, but he wasn't there the whole fucking time. Raskin said his piece and he bounced. Johnson said his piece and he bounced. Crockett couldn't even wait till the end of the fucking hearing before she bounced. It doesn't matter about American fucking people. It matters about your experts. You wonder why? That's why. You wonder why the Republican messaging fucking sucks? Because visibly, we don't see what you say. You say these things, but you motherfuckers don't show up. You say these things, but you motherfuckers vote in a different goddamn way. So you understand why the House is in peril right now. Yeah, the Senate, maybe a seat or two will flip. Not much. You ain't gonna change shit. But House is gone. Why? Because you just simply could not show the fuck up, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate the shit out of every single fucking one of you. Let's bring these hearings Monday. Let's do this shit. Let's have some fun with it. Tuesday, tomorrow, we're going to have a members only. Let's talk about this Rumble situation. Let's get your ideas about what Rumble needs to do and everything like that. We got a panel we're going to be on. They're going to hear us. So, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate the shit out of every single one of you. We're going to third rail if y'all can decompress. Just stay away from the politics a little bit on that side. But appreciate the shit out of every single one of you. You have a good night. And we're definitely going to see you again tomorrow with a Rumble Talk. Until then, have a good one.
And y'all don't know that I'm a soldier. I always felt like I'm alone. When everybody thinks they know ya. And y'all don't even know I own ya. And now I'm ready taking over. Cause every day I'm getting closer. Just look at everything I'll show ya. And now I'm ready, I'ma blow up.